super over. Oh, yes, sir! You bet your roll, you are!
From Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli.
As a captain and as a player, I wouldn't want to keep being part of such games, but Punjab Kings is not for the light-hearted.
If you could create a career that doesn't currently exist, what would it be?
Singer?
That exists, brother.
Gets it back with a point. It's going to run away for four and into the end. Kolkata Knight Riders are the champions.
All right. We are back again
We're back again.
with the Bolts podcast. My name is Nick Cates. My pronouns are he and him, and it's been a wonderful first week of the IPL.
My name is Ariane Ori, and my pronouns are also he, him. And I'm coming to you saying it has been a wonderful week of the IPL, in fact.
I've really enjoyed the cricket so far.
I think it's been crazy. I think it's been, well, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. I want to start out by talking to some of our listeners, because all of you out there, I realize that, and I think we both realize that sort of at first glance, our subject matter can look kind of unrelated, right? Like, it can seem like we're kind of taking two sports that are like halfway across the world from each other, and what do they possibly have to do to each other? But I just want to talk about some of the method to our madness, because there is a lot of deep connection and similarity between both the IPL and the NFL. Those of you who know a lot about the history of the IPL will know that there were a lot of elements of the match experience, a lot of the spectacle, and especially the cheerleaders that Lalit Modi took directly from the NFL when he first created the IPL. I also think on kind of a deeper level, and Ariane, you can correct me if you disagree with this, but I think that the NFL and the IPL, from a television perspective, are the two greatest television sporting products that exist.
1,000%.
And I think that because of that, I think that they have a certain type of accessibility for anybody who likes one to then kind of move over to the other. So I guess my appeal is, no matter if you're somebody who normally listens for the football, and we'll be doing football at the end for the foreseeable future, at least until the Chargers are back to playing a little bit more, to listen to the cricket part of the broadcast. And for everybody who's here for the cricket, stay tuned for the last 5 minutes of the broadcast and hear about what's going on with the Chargers. It's not that long, and we think you'll be into the Chargers too. I don't know. I think that, yeah.
And I think it's a great way to, I think learning about one sport is always a positive, especially when they're so related.
Yeah.
In terms of the method to their madness.
Yeah.
And they're both beautiful games. And anybody who's
yeah.
into one sport, I mean, it's not mutually exclusive. I love learning about all kinds of sports. It's really rewarding. So stick around. And we're interesting people as well.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
If you're not interested in football and or cricket, be interested in us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And we'll be enthusiastic, and we hope that our enthusiasm will carry over to you as well.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. Dhoni faces 3 balls a game, perhaps. Maybe scores like 2 or 3. Fans still come out just to see him.
Yep.
And I feel like you should be the same way about us.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't do jack shit, gets injured, throws interceptions, and people still go out to see him.
Exactly.
So there's parallels everywhere you look, is what we're saying. So with that in mind, I think it's time to get into some of these matches. I think what we were hoping to do is, do you want to just go down the table?
Let's rattle off the table as things stand at the time of recording, because it's actually really surprising, and some of our predictions from the initial part of the preview and whatnot, I've changed my mind on one particular team. I am sounding the alarm. I am withdrawing my prediction. But let's first tell you the table as things stand today, prior to the LSG PBKS game tomorrow.
Yes.
RCB 1, Delhi Capitals 2, LSG 3, Gujarat Titans 4. PBKS rocking 5, but only one game with one win. Mumbai 6, Chennai 7, Hyderabad 8, Rajasthan 9, and KKR. LLL 10th.
LLL.
Yeah, losers. And the thing is, what's interesting about
I
this
seem to remember your 3 matches going differently than LLL.
Well, the interesting thing is, from positions 3 to 10, every single team is at 2 points.
Which is why I think this table is a little bit skewed.
Yes. And from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the bottom 5 teams are at win 1, lost 2. Every single one of them. That's Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Rajasthan, and of course LLL. So that's the table as things stand. Let's get into a little bit of a breakdown of how things started and where things are at.
Yeah, we can start with RCB in the first match, and they're also at the top of the table.
Yes, they are. They are very much so. Here's what I want to say about the KKR RCB game. Rahane as captain, I'm happy with it because he's a good captain, and I also think it prevents Venkatesh Iyer from being captain. Anything that does that, automatic dub for the boys.
I was going to say one of the biggest predictions, one of the biggest L's that I took on the IPL preview was totally downplaying Rahane. I was like, you're hoping he's not getting games. That was an L.
Yeah.
That was an L.
Where did I stand on that?
I don't think you stood there.
Yeah, because I thought he's reinvented his game quite a bit. And I mean, obviously, opener. I mean, he was the shining star. Of course, Sonny and Sunil Narain also got into the action, but overall lackluster score. And look, let me underscore the problem with the Kolkata Knight Riders, which is, I know I'm looking a bit in the rearview mirror here. You release Shreyas Iyer. To me, you just decided to doom your season, and I understand. I was in a conversation about this with somebody this morning as well, and he asked me, "Well, Venki Meister isn't stupid. Why did he release Shreyas Iyer, right?" And now there's a few responses to this that I could give. One is too expensive. He probably, once he won the championship, he was like, all right, give me more money. Now the thing is, you release Stark, so you had cap space, which is what we call it in the IPL, money.
Purse space.
Purse, right? You had cap space. You could have retained. You could have kept him. You could have released Venkatesh garbage, right? It's not even clever. I know it's not clever, but I'm trying to make a point here about his cricket.
I think it works because it's unexpected.
Also, because it really represents his batting perfectly. Nothing special.
So far.
No. Here's the thing. Yes, okay. Well, we'll talk about Venkatesh Iyer specifically if we want to. But you released him. You had cap space for Stark after you released Stark. You could have released Venkatesh. That would have been another slot. What happened is Venki Meister put a lot of credence on Gautam Gambhir's contribution to the IPL championship. No doubt he was important. But what about the person executing the plans on the field? What about Chandrakant Pandit, the head coach? No one gave him any props. You stripped Chandrakant of his captain, and of course he had to be stripped of his mentor because that guy's on to bigger and better things. And you doomed your season. And you built your whole franchise around a new aged captain and some unknown guy, Venkatesh, that is, Iyer, who has no leadership experience, who barely can bat. He has a couple centuries and a handful of half centuries under his belt, and suddenly he's vice captain.
He did make a few runs in this map this year, and did make a lot of runs in the IPL last year.
Last year he made a few runs in the IPL.
Yeah.
And Smat, what I'll say about the Smat is, I may cede that to him, but I just don't think he's consistent enough. IPL is all about consistency. You look at Ankush Raghuvanshi, right? I mean, he's somebody who has just risen and risen and risen. I mean, they sent him at 3 down in the first game, right? They sent him in at 2 down in the second game, and they sent him in.
He was 3 down against Mumbai?
2 down. 2 down. They promoted him from 3 down to 2 down. He needs as much time as he can get to bat because he's the
best batsman in the squad right now.
He's the best batsman in the squad, and he's the perfect mix of technique with innovation.
Yeah. I've
never seen a batsman so. Well, I have, but you see batters who are so confident in themselves and are so innovative, and you love to see. And they need to be building the franchise around people like him.
Yeah. I will say what you're talking about with Shreyas and Gautam Gambhir reminds me of. I think it's so funny because we were just talking about how cricket and the IPL and football are so similar. This is one way in which they are very different in that the captain on the field fulfills so many of the responsibilities that like a head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator would be fulfilling in the NFL. That said, I think Rahane has been pretty good. I am looking at KKR and I'm like, there are a lot of guys who are running in and out of form all at the wrong time,
Yes.
all at the same time.
Yes.
And that tells me this is not a team that's garbage. I'm into the bowling attack with one notable exception. And I just think that a lot of these guys are going to find their form. And I also think that KKR bat too deep to keep posting totals this small.
I want to say this. I think it's a mindset issue that KKR has always had. We have been prone to middle order collapses like no other team in this tournament. I want to say that yes, we bat very deep, but it's all about the mindset that you have.
Yeah.
Right? I think you mentioned off air that where's Ramanullah Gurbaz? And I fully back it. Quinton de Kock is great. I mean, look, he's a...
Why not? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah.
There is
No, well, you can't have both because 4 foreigners. Spencer Johnson.
But
it
if you
needs
take
to be
Spencer
replaced.
Johnson out, you can...
You'd need Norkia then. Because you need to
What about
augment
Umran Malik?
the bowling attack.
And his 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah. I'm iffy on Umran Malik because he gets hit. He's just quick. That's all he has, really.
I mean, but Nortia also gets hit sometimes.
He's a smarter bowler and he's more accurate.
That's fair. And he's more experienced.
Yes. He is expensive, don't get me wrong. Andrik Norkia is going to go for 40
Yeah.
in 4, at least. But he's not Stark. He's not giving 60.
Yeah.
And he's not Umran, where he's giving every 2 balls outside the off stump.
Yeah.
2 that are going to get cut for 6.
Yeah, or 5 wides because, like, nobody can catch up to, like, what is, in baseball terms, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, like, thrown behind the batter.
Yes. So I think 2 things need to happen. Look, I'm proud of Rahane because he's been very aggressive.
Yeah.
He's really reinvented his batting, and he is such a calm, stable person to have as captain.
I thought his reaction to the performance today against MI was very good, where he was fully accountable, and he said it was a total batting failure.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that's the worst the batting gets, I still think the KKR are in pretty good shape.
A little bit of it had to do with the sort of curveball that was Ashwini.
Yeah.
I want to say this about Ashwini Kumar, now that we're on the topic. It seems like he's a master of bowling to his field. I mean, the way he dismissed Rahane, it was straight to cover, exactly where they went. And Mumbai really gave KKR some opportunities to take advantage of this game.
Yeah.
Namely, Ashwini Kumar dropped 2 catches.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a third drop catch, difficult catch at short mid wicket. But mainly what I'm seeing from the KKR batters right now is I don't think we want to win. I don't think we want to build an innings. You see Andre Russell's dismissal. He's just whacking it. It's on leg stump. You're trying to, I don't know what you're trying to do, hit it down the ground.
The
clean
composure
bowled.
isn't there.
It's not there. Clean bowled. Manish Pandey, I think he got kind of bamboozled, so fair play. I want to say this about Manish Pandey as well, a franchise legend.
Yeah, well,
you know?
we love Manish Pandey.
We love Manish
on this
Pandey.
podcast.
19 to come in randomly as an impact player, 19 out of 14. What
Solid.
can you do?
Great,
You
yeah.
know? I mean, ideally, I want more from him, but you get what you get. Right?
If you get that from everybody, you're gonna win. That was basically PBKS innings.
Yeah, as long as one person scores 50 or 60. But Venkatesh, I mean, 3 off 9. I mean, it's rough. I mean, even Sunil Narayan, he can't. There's some glaring issues with Sunil Narayan's batting, namely Yorkers and bouncers. I mean, that's like half of your repertoire right there as a bowler.
He's getting old.
He's getting old as well.
That's what that makes me think of is his reaction time starting to go, because
Yeah.
that's what you need to be able to react to. Both of those balls, those are variation balls. You need to be able to pick those up. And I remember. I think it was the last season of Chris Gale. There was a bowl that Rabada bowled when he was with DC that was like damn near a beamer. And
He got bowled. I remember that.
Chris Gale got like completely bowled. Some of it was because that was one of the weirdest deliveries I've ever seen. But I think that I don't really think that even like 30-year-old Chris Gale doesn't hit that for 6.
If I'm not mistaken, he was on like 97 at that time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, we got a little bit more broad in this analysis right now. We
Yeah.
can go specific. Rahane scored his first 50 in 18 innings against RCB. Which is,
Well, and I want to talk about the RCB innings because
Please.
that really was a middle order collapse.
led by
KKR were
Led by-
yes, I know. KKR were well on their way to 200 plus until I think it
Venkatesh
was
had a say in it.
yeah, until Venkatesh Iyer. Rinku Singh as well. I'm sorry, I have to say this. He has not been making runs this year.
I want to say this about Rinku Singh. I don't blame him. KKR doesn't know how they want to use him.
Fair.
They are confused whether they want him to bat long or they want him to go and pinch hit. Now, right now they're using him as a pinch hitter. That's not his natural game.
Yeah.
He can do it and he can give you something to be proud of,
Yeah.
but it's not his natural
And
game.
he's not going to make the big totals consistently. He might do it. He might hit 5 6s in an over every once in a while.
Exactly. That one innings made him like, oh, now he's a hitter. I guess
Yeah.
he's a hitter. But Rinku needs to play what Venkatesh is playing right now.
Yeah.
He needs to play at that position.
Yeah.
Venkatesh needs to be subbed off of this team. That is my big problem with KKR.
Would you feel better about him if you were batting further down the order?
No, he's taking up a spot. He's taking up a spot that some better batter or all-rounder could take up. You know, my problem with him is that he's like, when he scores, he's a menace. Yeah, every batter is a menace when
Well, he
they
also
score.
hasn't done anything with the ball either. So if he's not like taking
'cause he's
wickets,
not an all-rounder.
there's no point in him being in the squad.
Absolutely, he's not an all-rounder. And now Ramandeep has to bat so low
not
down.
even
the
bowling.
Ramandeep?
No, I was talking about Venkatesh.
No, of course not. He's not a good bowler.
No,
He's considered an all-rounder, but he's a
and he's paid like an all rounder. Like that's the key.
He's paid like a captain is
Yeah,
paid. Like
he's paid like somebody with two
senior.
skills, right?
Yeah.
Either like one like
Leadership
strong
and-
batter, captain, or well, Rishabh Trousers may not have either, but like somebody like Shreyas Iyer. Obviously, you're not paying him for his bowling, but you're paying him for his batting and his captaincy.
Yeah. There are any number of people you can play in his place.
Yeah.
Anukul Roy is somebody I've always liked. He's not a superstar, somebody who's gonna blitz you 30 runs in 20 balls, but he's there. He's around.
Yeah.
He can bowl some good left arm off spin, and he can play some good innings if you actually play him.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other people here that would be great.
They had Aurora in the first two matches. Did he bowl? Did he play against MI? No, he didn't. They took him out of the squad for MI. Why? Effective power play bowler. Takes wickets, swings the ball. Why? You got me like a pastor who just found out about Pokemon. Why?
I'll tell you why Vaibhav Arora wasn't in the squad today, because we needed an extra impact player as a batsman this time. Vaibhav Arora is usually used as an impact player. So Ankreesh comes out, Vaibhav comes in. But we were panicking because we were, 89 for 7. And we had to use the impact from Manish. And that's kind of how it happened. And then we had to use Russell to bowl. And Russell always gets wickets somehow. So good on him.
But I mean, he didn't have a total to bowl at.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, the game was lost when, 7 overs in, to be honest.
Like, there were 70 runs below par.
Yeah.
Probably.
At least,
yeah.
It was just a complete collapse, and there was no doubt in anybody's mind who was going to win this game. I think we've kind of covered the KKR issue.
But I think we should talk about RCB because...
Before we do that, let me say this. You're right about Spencer Johnson. Spencer Johnson needs to be subbed out for Anrik Norkia at least once. If you're not going to sub him out for Anrik Norkia, then sub him out for Moeen Ali. I don't get what...
Or sub him out for, like... anybody Indian and put in Ramanula Gurbaz at the top.
Exactly. I'm fine with that. Play Vaibhav Arora.
Yeah.
See, Spencer Johnson, Spencer Johnson...
I don't understand the point, like for all you March Madness folks out there, like, Spencer Johnson looks like we have Cooper Flag at home.
He has, his bowling in international cricket, he's only played 5 ODIs, right? 8 T20Is. He's not somebody who, he's played 70 T20 domestic cricket games, and his average in T20s is 17 with an economy rate of 9. Now, I like that average. Strike rate's 11.
Most of that's probably from the Big Bash.
Exactly.
On Australian pitches.
Well, that's T20Is. We're talking about T20Is.
Oh, T20Is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when you
Still,
look
you're going to have a lot of those on Australian pitches.
at the Big Bash statistic is 22.4 average, strike rate of 17, economy rate 7.85. Economy rate's good.
Yeah.
But it's been difficult for him to adapt to this environment, so to speak. He needs to be subbed out. We've tried him enough times. The lefty pace, I get it. It's always attractive. We can do without it. We really can. We've got enough.
And also, like it's a tale as old as time. Australian bowlers come to the IPL and go for runs.
Yes, they do.
There's very few that have, like, the only ones who have really truly, like, overcome that are, like, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, top class international bowlers, and even both of them spent long stretches away from the IPL. I don't even think Mitchell Starc was in the IPL.
Mitchell Starc hasn't overcome that, by the way. He gets hit. He gets
Yeah.
smoked.
Well,
even today.
But he did take some wickets.
Yeah, he's taking wickets now, which he always kind of did because he is, an all-star almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has not.
He takes
gotten
enough wickets to make the runs, like, more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
But most of these Australian guys, and I've seen it a billion times with PBKS because we picked all of these guys, they come in. The batsmen, too. Matthew Short, 8 billion runs in the Big Bash. Absolutely none in the IPL.
Yep.
Like, there's very few Australians who, honestly, like, at all, like, how many have truly been dominant, especially, like in the last 5 years of consistently. David Warner was very good for a while as a captain, but, like, a lot of these guys struggle so much with the conditions in India.
And that's why Hazelwood is even more.
That's been one of the biggest surprises.
He's actually been quite surprising because he was away from cricket since December.
Yeah.
So it had been 3 months since he played. He comes in, he kicks KKR's butt for a winning.
Wasn't the only butt he kicked.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he comes in and against the Chennai Super Kings takes 3 wickets for 21 in 4 overs. Fantastic display.
Yeah.
On the topic of Australian bowlers. So that was great. But just to wrap up on KKR, I think the key subs we need to make are Venkatesh out, perhaps Vaibhav Arora in,
Yep.
or perhaps Moeen Ali in, and
Yep.
then you take out Spencer Johnson
Yep.
for a bowler. Any one of those changes can be made, but basically we need Spencer and Venkatesh out. We need to use Rinku Singh where he belongs, which is 3 down.
They played Moeen Ali as an opener. I don't know how I feel about that.
I agree.
Feel like I like him better. Like, if you can bring Moeen Ali in at 7, 8, or 9, I'm really into that. You're just like, you have 4 deliveries to face, hit all of them out of the ground.
Yes.
And he's like, Mo's got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about RCB.
Let's talk about RCB. It hurt my heart that Phil Salt scored against us. It really hurt my heart. I'm not sure why we got rid of him. Probably a cap space issue. Probably, I don't know. But
I can never fault anybody for getting rid of an Englishman as good as Phil Salt has been, and as good as he was for KKR.
Right,
honestly, maybe the best English batsman, either him or Joss Butler, in the IPL right now.
Yeah,
I would say
I
he's
would
been
agree.
really good, and honestly,
He's
if Joss comes out of form, Joss is like barely hanging on to that. If Phil makes some more runs or Joss goes further out of form, yeah.
I mean, look, Joss has been really underwhelming. I hate him as a guy, so take this with a grain of salt. But he's been pretty poor. I even watched his 50 the other day against, I want to say Delhi? Or am I tripping here?
Would have been GT played MI, did they not?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on.
Yes, it was MI.
No, that
It
was
was 39 against
24.
MI.
No, I
The
wanna
only other
see.
match was against us. Did he make 50 against us?
He did.
He
So-
made the most forgettable 50 ever because I watched the entire match extremely intently and I completely forgot he did it.
You know what? You're absolutely right. It was a very forgettable 50. He wasn't timing the ball. He had no idea what to do. And he's totally struggled against Vaishak Vijaykumar.
To be fair, so did most of the GT batting lineup, but
I mean, it was such we'll talk about that. I guess.
let's talk about PBKS later.
Yeah. It's just because it was so fascinating.
Yeah.
RCB, right?
RCB.
Phil Salt, big fan of Phil Salt's. Kohli in with the runs in the first game. David Particle is a very interesting case study because about 3 to 4 years ago, he was all the rage and all the talk of the town. And now the poor guy has struggled to get any runs whatsoever.
with a certain exception, he played very well in their last match. I think he made like 40 or 45. Because the first
He scored 27 off 14.
I mean,
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I'll take it, but it's not sufficient to compensate for all the innings where he's been poor.
Yeah.
You know, if you take a look at his last couple of IPL seasons, you'll see that the stats just aren't there.
Not at all.
And they have kept their belief in him. You know, meanwhile his IPL contract is low. I mean, 2 years ago it was 7.75 crores.
What?
Yeah. With Lucknow, 3 years ago it was 7.75. 2 years ago it was 7.75 with Rajasthan. This year it's 2 crores with RCB.
Yeah, I was gonna like he's a flyer.
But why wouldn't that happen? You know?
Yeah.
It's rough, but why wouldn't it happen?
Of course. Well, you go out of form, you're not gonna the way you increase your salary is by having multiple teams want you. I can see why RCB would have been the only team that was bidding on him.
And I think it's because Kohli has a good relationship with him because that's where he started.
Yeah.
Devdutt Padikkal was, opening the batting for RCB when he was at his peak.
Yep.
And, I mean, you look at last year, his average was 5.
Oh, God. Well, okay, but he just made 27 off 14, so that's clearly way better than
puts his average for this year at 18. Whatever, it's only been 2 games, though.
Yeah.
2023, his average was 26. 2022, his average was 22. Strike rate of 120 and 130, respectively. I mean, look, these are poor stats. His peak was 2020. That was his debut. 2020, 2021. His average was 31.5 and 31.6 at strike rates of 124 and 125, respectively. So never an explosive player.
Yeah.
But the average was high. He was a good one-down bat.
Yeah.
During COVID and the year
and
after.
as an anchor, yeah. Well, also, strike rates were not then what they are now. 130 wasn't nearly as bad as it is maybe now.
I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago? It was already getting up there.
It was starting to get up there, but 130 in 2020 is 150 today, right?
Yeah, sure, possible. I mean, I feel like that's a bit
just
of a
with impact players and with the number of 200 plus scores now.
Yes, boundary shortening.
Yeah,
what have you? Maybe 150 is a bit of a stretch.
Then again, they were playing matches in 2020 in Sharjah, which is about the size of the closet that we're currently recording this podcast in.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the captain of the Royal Challengers Bangalore, who I think also represents one of my biggest L's, I think, from the IPL preview, Mr. Rajat Patidar. And I would just like to say to Mr. Rajat Patidar that I'm very sorry. I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game, in the words of the great American athlete and entertainer, Shaquille O'Neal. This dude can fucking play. Holy shit.
You doubted him?
Oh, yeah. But that was me not knowing ball.
Oh. Wow.
I've
always loved that guy.
I honestly did not watch enough RCB. That's what it is.
That's fair.
I always just looked at RCB as slightly more successful PBKS, and thus they depressed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
They no longer seem to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rajat Patidar has a lot to do with it.
They had to inject young captaincy into the side. Yeah. Rajat Patidar, I mean, forget about his batting. His batting has always been great. I mean, since his first season, which is a couple of years ago, he is a phenomenal, a surprisingly good captain.
Yeah.
And it's great to see. I want to say that they released Duplessis. Yeah, they got Phil Salt, so they're kind of covered there. But Duplessis was a crazy release.
Yeah.
Considering Capitals got him for 2 crores.
Look at what he's doing with Delhi.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll get to Delhi. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But to replace Duplessis, it's big shoes to fill, especially you're captaining Kohli. It's always like, I'm captaining Kohli. Jeez, But
kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but you're killing it. He's killing it.
I will say they invested very well into their finishers and their lower order lineup. Liam Livingston, obviously a player I love. I have at least a deep love and appreciation for from his time in Punjab, even though he's English.
You do? He didn't do anything for you guys.
What are you talking? Did you see his first season with Punjab?
Did you guys win that tournament? Yeah, I didn't think so.
We don't win any tournament, man.
Just saying.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that will change this year. But you gotta take your wins where you have them. And Liam was fucking electric for us.
He was. He scored at an average of 36 in his maiden season.
And
that
his
is
strike rate was ridiculous, and he
not
hit,
I meant that not his maiden season, but the season that made him.
Yes.
I guess.
He's not had the same form, although he made 15 off 5 in the first match against KKR.
Woohoo.
He needs to bat a little bit better, I think. But dude, like Jitesh, one of my favorite cricketers ever, love to see him there, and he is striking like crazy. Tim David there as a finisher, one of the best in the world. And Krunal Pandya is also, like, very useful with the bat at number 8, number 9. Like, this is a team that bats deep. And,
Ramandeep,
even though he doesn't play for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this is not only a well-constructed team, the bowling needs to continue to hold up, but I think this is a well-constructed team, and I think this is a team that bats really, really deep. And they're the team, I would say that RCB is the team that has impressed me the most so far. Although I didn't have particularly high expectations for them going in.
I agree. I mean, they're always impressive when they win because no one expects them to. So I think that it's been great. And I think they look like the difference between RCB before and RCB today, which is why we're so excited about them, is that they look like a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
And look, I honestly don't like Krunal Pandya, and I was going to discuss him about the KKR game as well. A couple of his wickets stayed low, you know. I don't think he's a very intelligent bowler. I think he wishes he was Jadeja, and he can't.
Oh, he wishes he was his brother.
Of course. I mean, I wish I was his brother, to be fair.
For anybody who has seen one of my favorite television shows ever, Entourage, Krunal Pandya is the Johnny Drama of cricket. He has a hotter and more successful brother, but he's still sort of in the game because he's just sort of good enough to hang around, I guess. Although he's not really just good enough to hang around. He's been a useful IPL player for a very long time.
He has been, and he captains a Ranji Trophy team as well. But Krunal Pandya, to me, I've never been as big a fan of his as the Ambanis have been, nor have, RCB now is.
Well, he always goes for good money in the auction.
He does. I mean, his contract is 5.75 crore, which it's actually.
I think that's a pretty fair price.
I call it reasonable, actually.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly reasonable because, people like him are always paid for. So I would call it reasonable.
A good Indian all-rounder is worth his weight in gold.
I guess. He's an okay Indian all-rounder.
Even, compared to having to waste a foreign player spot on, some dude from Australia who probably can't bowl or, heaven forbid, Sam Curran.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You hate to see Sammy C.
Right? Now Krunal Pandya is looking a lot better.
It looks about the same.
I also
don't like Krunal because he fought with Deepak Huda in the Ranji Trophy.
And in verse with my feelings about Deepak Huda, it also makes me like him more. But we will get to Deepak. Oh, we will get to Deepak. He has made a serious mark on this tournament.
What else do you want to discuss about RCB? I think Rasik Salam is something I never understood.
Yeah.
Why does he play?
Well, he didn't play in the second match.
Thank God. What is he doing here? I don't like Rasik Salam. Look, nothing against him as a guy. I don't know him enough. But all I know is he's kind of quick. Doesn't really take wickets. 4 overs for 45 easy.
Yeah, no. Well, no wonder he got dropped. I will say, speaking of 5-6s in an over, Yash Dayal, I feel like, has been much better this season.
I was going to say, people still talk about the 5-6s thing, which is crazy to me,
I thought he was kind of a surprising retention.
Yeah.
L. Basically everything I said about RCB was an L.
I think it showed a lot of character to retain Yash Dayal. I think that's obviously when he got hit for 5-6s, he was playing for Gujarat at the time.
Yeah.
And then he shifted over to RCB in 2024, and
I don't remember being particularly impressed by him last season, but I think he's been bowling at a really high level this year, and I think that he probably used his retention as some good motivation, and is really playing like the type of guy who should have been retained.
Yeah. So he was retained by RCB, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And it shows a lot of heart to do that.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy who hasn't really given you like memorable performances really. But he's not old yet. He's 27.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of life left in him. He's a left arm pacer. Left arms are always
useful
in demand.
And if he can find consistency even at like maybe like 10% less than what he's doing now, he's gonna be one of the most important bowlers in the IPL, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to call that he would be one of the most important bowlers in the IPL. I do think
he could be a really, really big part of this attack.
Of the RCB attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have to be because look, they don't have a whole lot of options. I mean, if any bowling attack that has Rafiq Salam, I mean, you're in trouble.
Well, he was dropped, and he was dropped for Bhuvi.
Which is that's a good.
That's
call.
a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they should have been going with in the first place.
I think Bhuvi was injured in the first match. That would be a very that would be a pretty simple explanation for Rafiq Salam.
Poor guy. Now he's going to be benched for the remainder of the tournament. But Bhuvi is prone to injury, so maybe he's going to get his chance again.
We'll see.
Let's talk about Suyash Sharma before we get on with this.
Suyash Sharma with his Virat Kohli first year at RCB number callback. Don't think I didn't notice that, Suyash.
I think the poor guy had a redemption moment in the game. He dropped a sitta of Quinton de Kock. Lucky enough that Quinton de Kock got out like 3 balls later.
In an event that I described as Quinton de Kock, we hardly knew ye.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, dropped a catch, and then look, I mean, he's bowled so many times to these batters in the nets, the KKR that is. Getting Andre like that was probably regulation for him. Yeah. I mean, it was a beautiful delivery. Don't get me wrong, and it took a lot of guts and intelligence to float it up like that, and bowl it wrong and get Andre cleaned up. But he was getting hit.
Yep.
For a while, and to come back like that, to bowl the
catch and he was not having a good day.
And then to bowl the death like that.
Yep.
He was given a lot of faith by Rajat Patidar, and that's what I like about his captaincy is that he shows a lot of faith and a lot of heart. He doesn't get rattled, and I never see him rattle in the field. So that's a good thing about him. Anything you'd like to say about Suyash before we? Well,
I like his hair.
Oh. Got great hair. Got
great hair.
Flowing locks.
Top 5
He's like
hair
Rapunzel.
in the IPL. Seriously.
He's like you. You're like Rapunzel.
I'm actually like Rapunzel in that like my hair could be rappelled down from a tower because that goddamn long.
Yeah, but that's great.
It is.
And
it gives me extra utility. I'll fetch more money in the auction because I have the extra utility. Like I can't bat or bowl, but I can be used to descend from a tall tower in a pinch.
And who doesn't need that skill?
Who doesn't need that skill? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What if Virat Kohli has to come in and bat and the stairs break? What are you going to do?
Use the elevator?
Yeah.
No.
Elevator's broken too.
Escalator's broken 3.
All you have is my hair.
And that's all you need.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That, sheer comfort and long life.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, one more thing I would like to say about Virat is that he finally booked a role. Finally. We've been waiting for this for the duration of this podcast. Virat made his stage debut dancing next to SRK before the first match. And, as a fan of Theater Kid Virat, I was big into this. I don't know how you felt about it, man, but I was big into it. I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't know if he's cracking Broadway anytime soon, but we'll see. We'll see. He certainly got a big platform to impress some casting directors.
He's impressed us.
He certainly has impressed us. We will hire Virat Kohli to be the star of Los Angeles Chargers the musical, which we haven't written yet, but if Virat wanted to do it, we probably would.
It's going to be based off this podcast. We're already writing it right now.
We already are, yeah.
It's less about the Chargers and more about our trauma as Chargers fans.
Yes, and cricket fans.
Yes.
We need to wrap up RCB and CSK because we need to get into the impact of the aforementioned Mr. Deepak Hooda.
Yeah. I mean, that's he's one of the people that I do like, but I can't deny that his performances, both on the field and with the bat, have been par. He dropped.
Well, he had probably the worst dropped catch of the entire season.
It was so bad that it was funny.
Yes.
And it just popped right out of his hand, and you should see the look on his face. Just like, yeah, can't do anything about that. It's just garbage. It's like actual garbage. He dropped Patidar on 17. Guy goes on to score 51 off 32. What are you going to do? And I must say, Rajat Patidar plays with a confidence that is so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a great player. But hey, Hooda finally took Krunal So there's a bit of poetic justice.
A little. He took his wicket. Good for him.
No, he took his catch.
It's not nearly as cool, but
It's not really cool, but I still take it.
fair enough. The biggest thing that I've noticed about Deepak Hooda is that the biggest Deepak Hooda test innings of the season so far have all occurred while he was on the field, including my nominee for number 1, 31 runs from 30 balls for the king himself, Mr. Virat Kohli. I think this is a solid leader out of the gate for Deepak innings of the season. This was Sunil Gavaskar in the early ODI when they made 600 and he just decided, I'm gonna bat like it's a fucking test. Like, that is the type of jam that we really like to see at the Deepak Hooda test innings of the season committee. And yeah, I don't really know if anybody's gonna top this. I was not really expecting to see just so many deliveries at a strike rate. Like, I'll qualify anything like over 20 balls, under 120 strike rate as Deepak, but like basically right at 100 with 30 balls, and they won. They call him the king for a reason. That's all I have to say.
They used to say when KL was with Punjab that they were winning in spite of KL Rahul and not because of him. Because he would score 64 off 50 or whatever.
There is an argument to be made that this should be called the KL Rahul test winnings of the season, although not now that he's batting down the order.
And they used to be part of the same team for a while, by the way.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Lucknow Supers.
And the Punjab Kings.
That's right. That's right, of course.
Where do you think I have all of this trauma from?
Fair enough, fair enough. By the way, you've been saying 30 off 31?
Sorry, it's 31 off 30.
There we go.
Whatever.
Just wanted to make sure you know what you're talking about.
I have it right here.
I do feel bad for Kohli because he got out, first of all, to Noor Ahmed. Noor Ahmed, we're on the topic of RCB versus CSK.
Yeah.
Noor Ahmed is the most overrated bowler I've seen in a long time. He's a lefty off spinner, which is hard for righties to play, as is. He's not the most intelligent bowler I've seen. He bowls a leg to middle stump line. Sometimes he bowls a very hard length, targeting the body. And the way Kohli got out to him, he smashed it, and he got caught on the boundary, you know. And I by Ratan Ravindra, and I don't feel bad about that dismissal. I mean, he 31 of 30 isn't great. It's 103 strike rate. It's crazy. But I don't credit that to Noor Ahmed. I credit that to Kohli. He gave his wicket away.
Yeah.
So just to comment on Noor Ahmed, I saw him bowl hard lengths even in the first CSK game, and I was like, this is not impressive. The first game was against Mumbai. He was not impressive.
Well, and I also
even though
think...
funnily, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but funnily enough, he took 3.
Yeah.
4. In fact,
he's your purple cap leader, I believe.
Yes. No, you were right. He is the purple cap holder, and I'm gonna go ahead and say
he's going at a very low economy. That's the only thing I gotta tell you, man, is that like his economy is very, very, very good.
I'm gonna attribute that to,
except for in the second match.
I'm gonna attribute that to good captaincy. I think Gaikwad is a great captain.
Me too.
I think he's single-handedly shouldering the burden of this team with the bat and with the management skills. I think playing Dhoni has its perks with ticket sales and jersey sales and all that.
There's an on-field perk that it's been having this season as well that I think is worth noting.
Keeping?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's a great keeper. He's
3 stumpings in 3 matches, man.
That's all right.
Who else is taking stumpings right now?
I guess you're right.
Dude, I've seen a billion signs. Like every single CSK match, there's inevitably some dude in there that has a sign, the like upshot of which is, I flew 7,000 miles to see the Tulla, right? Mm-hmm. And if you flew 7,000 miles to see the Tulla bat, you were disappointed, but also I don't feel bad for you because you should have also been flying 7,000 miles to watch him with the gloves. And he's been amazing with the gloves, and I have enjoyed watching him with the gloves, and is he the guy that I would have in as my finisher? Honestly, if you could bring him in at like number 9, that would like really rock. But and like actually treat him as a specialist wicket keeper. But like I do think
you talking about Dhoni?
Yeah,
he is a specialist wicket keeper. He's going in 7 down. He's going behind Ashwin.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no. I mean, 7 down?
Yeah.
The latest he's ever gone is 6. He used to bat at 8 for India sometimes. Batting at 9, batting at 7 down, that's...
I like it, though, because you're just not asking too much of him. I think it's very realistic, and if you have a good enough team that you can bat Dhoni at number 9...
Is it a good enough team if you're losing? Right? If you're winning
Fair.
1 in 3?
That's true.
Right?
And I don't think Chennai have been very good.
I agree. They haven't been good at all, to be honest. You're winning 1 in 3, and your batting
and
is...
And the 1 in 3 is against MI, which I'm sorry, I know what happened today, but I think that
we'll
I
get
think
to
that MI is the worst team in this competition.
And we're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
But you're winning against Mumbai, and you're losing convincingly as well.
Yeah.
Gaikwad can't do everything. He can't take catches, bat, and manage the team.
Yeah.
And still win you games, right?
Yeah.
You have to. Sam Curran is like the biggest, like, sort of dud.
Sam Curran, I 7 times I have on my notes. You can pull up the podcast agenda. 57 times I have written the exact same thing about Sam Curran, which is Sam Curran is still mid.
Yep.
Like, I'm glad that they dropped him. In some ways, I'm even gladder that they dropped him than Deepak Hooda, because then, like, Deepak probably would have created more Deepak innings if he'd been out on the field, and then I would have had more fun to be had, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, I don't think that Sam Curran should be in this team. Frankly...
I mean, he got assaulted by Tim David in the last over.
Yeah. But
19 runs, 3 sixes back to back to back.
Did you watch him for Punjab Kings the last 2 seasons? He got assaulted in every goddamn match.
Yep.
Like, if we have to have a Curran in the IPL, can at least be Tom, because Tom is way more attractive.
That's the thing. The Curran brothers had such hype around them. And they weren't that good ever. I mean, Sam Curran was considered, a genuine all-rounder. He's genuinely not an all-rounder.
Good. He's not good at either.
Either of those things.
And he's not a good captain.
Yeah, he's a horrible captain. You do what you can do, you know?
I mean, I suppose in that sense, I'm an all-rounder too.
I will say this, though. I'm very happy to see Ashwin back at the yellow colors.
Yes.
It suits him, man. He's played with Dhoni and Jadeja's entire IPL career. I mean, yeah, he flopped and flopped from Rajasthan to Punjab to, back to
DC
Chennai,
and
exactly. But it's nice to see him back. It's just nice.
I think that CSK really suits him. I don't know. Especially like with his overall cheese tactics energy. I think that and the history of Chennai and their use of cheese tactics.
Yes. Yeah. And he's been bowling well as well. You love to. I mean, see, somebody intelligent with the ball can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
He's been bowling well.
He's been bowling forever. He's like one of the most experienced players in the IPL.
I mean, ironically though, he gave 22 and 2 against RCB. But again,
who hasn't given 22 and 2 against RCB?
Exactly. It's interesting because Chennai, they played this game in Chennai, and Chennai has been renowned for a spinning track. But, and it kind of seemed that way from Chennai's batting. They just could not decipher the bowling. But I attribute that less to the pitch, in fact, and more to the bowling. Hazelwood was fantastic.
Yep. I think that this entire RCB bowling unit is firing right now. And
Bhuvaneshwar, Hazelwood, Yash Dayal, freaking Livingston took 2 wickets against Chennai.
He does that every once in a while.
You
put him in on a spinning track, like he can get you a couple of wickets.
Yeah.
He did it for us. Actually, in his last couple seasons, that was most of what he did for us.
I mean, obviously because he's not doing anything with the bat.
4 for 28, Liam. Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
2 for 28.
2 for 4. Sorry, 2 for 28 in 4 hours.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to talk. If we can pivot, is there anything else you want to say about RCB? Because
I'm good on RCB.
Cool. Let's pivot to number 1. By the way, RCB on the table.
Yes.
Let's pivot to. It's funny we started with number 10 and number 1.
Yeah.
On the list. Let's go to Chennai because I want to start with somebody who was close to my heart for a bit. Not so much anymore. Rahul Tripathi. Now there's a difference between being aggressive and being reflexive and instinctive, and just throwing your wicket away. The ways he's gotten out have been very unintelligent. You're throwing your bat at something and it's going straight to the fielder.
Yeah. I think he looks so antsy to me right now. Like, I've been, even more so than in previous seasons, when you watch him looking to take a delivery, he's so twitchy. He looks like, forgive me, but he kind of looks like he's having a seizure as he's waiting for the ball to come in. And I feel like this has to be mental because, he's just seemed so off for the entire season. Maybe Chennai just doesn't suit him the way KKR did or SRH did.
I want to make mention of something else. it's the impact player effect, I call it.
Yeah.
When you bring in somebody just to bat and he's not fielding or anything, it does take a mental toll because you can't just come in and bat.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how the game was meant to be played. None
Well,
of us
don't
were...
get all that time out, well, not necessarily out in the middle, but to like actually observe how the wicket is behaving when you're fielding.
Exactly. And we weren't coached like that. We weren't coached to just come in and bat.
Yeah.
Ever, you know. Especially as a keeper, for me personally, like when I'm behind the stumps, I know exactly how the pitch is behaving. It helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Same for the fielders, but I can't
Kind of
imagine...
makes you wonder why it took wicketkeepers so long to be batsmen.
Yeah. But it's tricky when you come in as an impact player just to hit the ball, just to play 12 balls.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, your body's not warm. You know, you just come right in, and you know, Tripaঠি's a great player, but I think he's always had that mentality towards him, that like restless mentality that you're mentioning, and it works for him. It's just,
and sitting on the bench for the entire fielding for while you're bowling the entire time can only make you more antsy.
Yes, exactly.
But you can fix that easily. Just bring somebody else in as the impact player.
Besides Tripathi, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean...
It can't be Ravindra. That's the issue. There's so many. And it can't be Gaikwad. Damn, actually, it's not that simple.
Look, I mean, your options are, you know, Deepak Huda, Kamlesh Nagarkoti, Vijay Shankar.
Because they've been using Shivam Dubey.
Yes, they have. You mean to sub out?
No, they've been subbing. I believe they've been subbing him in.
No, Tripathi's the one who they've been subbing in.
Gotcha. Maybe they
Twice,
should be
twice out of 3 times.
Maybe they should be subbing in Shivam Dubey. How did he do in the match where Dubey was the impact player? Didn't do
Tripathi scored 23 off 19. The impact player effect is real.
Yeah. Well, because when
you want Dubey to be subbed in. Right?
Yeah.
Now that happened against Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah.
And Tripathi did better, 23 off 19. It's not ideal, but first of all, they sent him opening.
Yeah.
With Rachin. Rachin got out for a duck. Rahul Tripathi 23 off 19. Then Dubey.
That's pretty rare. Rachin getting out for a duck.
Yes, exactly. But Dubey 18 off 10. Again, not great.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, he needs to be making a lot more runs if this team is going to do anything.
Yeah.
That's like especially no, he is so key.
Yeah.
Even more than Tripathi, he needs to come in and he needs to bash some motherfuckers around. They brought in beautiful man Vijay Shankar.
I cannot stand this man.
I don't know that he's a good cricketer, but he's pretty hot. And he made more runs than Deepak Huda in one inning.
Yeah,
for the entire season.
Deepak's been on the downslide for quite some time. You're talking right now about the CSK Rajasthan game, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. It's rough on... Vijay scored 9 off 6, and you should have seen the way he got out to Hasaranga. I mean, it was a disgusting dismissal.
I think I did.
He overextended his leg playing a drive, and he got cleaned up. But, it sucks for Deepak, and that's probably why he didn't play against Rajasthan.
He didn't play against Rajasthan because he made like 2 runs the entire season and dropped the most embarrassing catch of the entire season. Exactly.
It's rough on him. I mean, he's also kind of getting old. You know, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
He's almost 30. He's not that old. But, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. As far as the Chennai Super Kings go, there's also one glaring issue that I see, which is, as you mentioned, Dhoni's a specialist keeper.
Yeah.
And I think... in this game against Rajasthan, they were 39 to win off 12, and at that time, he was 4 off 6 balls. There is no intent from this Chennai team to win. I don't see it on any of their batters.
It feels like the batting is almost like, well, if we don't make runs, Dhoni will bail us out at the end.
Yeah,
except it's not 4 years ago.
Yeah, he's got, and more than the fact that he still has a skill, I believe. He's got no incentive.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
And it's coming through in his batting and in his demeanor.
You can see, you can really see it on his face when he walks in. He's just like,
because he's getting a reception from the crowd no matter what.
Yeah,
and that's really, I can't imagine the high he gets every time he walks out.
Oh yeah,
people are telling Jadeja, get out, we want to see Dhoni, and that's insane.
Those people don't know ball. I'm sorry.
God.
I want to see Dhoni. I want to see Dhoni as much as any sane person.
Yes.
Even at this age.
Yes.
Just because he's awesome.
Yes.
But yeah.
to say that to Jadeja is crazy.
No,
Jadeja,
that's not.
they're missing a legend in Jadeja. They're
Exactly. You're like what? If you can't love Ravindra Jadeja, you don't love cricket, man.
Exactly. So, anything else you'd like to say? I want to say one more thing.
Say one more thing about Chennai. I don't have much else to say about them other than they're not very good.
Shivam Dubey. I didn't used to like him earlier. Starting to warm up to the guy. But not as a player for the Indian World Cup, which is how they were using him earlier.
No.
But as an impact player for Chennai that can score 20 off 10 balls, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. But yeah, Dubey's all right. I don't hate him as much as I used to anymore. I think he's all right.
Another beautiful man.
Shivam Dubey?
Yeah.
No, that's a specimen and a half.
Honestly, this Chennai team is pretty hot, you gotta say.
Yeah.
They might not be good at cricket, but they are all lookers.
I mean, they're going to get advertising contracts. We'll just say that.
I mean...
And last thing I'll say to wrap up, Jamie Overton.
Get him out.
What is he good for?
Why was he picked in the IPL?
Heck if I know.
Like the only thing more pointless than random Australian bowlers is random English bowlers.
I mean, to be fair, he's getting paid like 1.5 crores.
Okay, that's okay. But then why is he playing? Like,
I don't.
You pay 1.5 crores to a foreign player that you leave on the bench for most of the season.
I think they are lacking in the bowling department a lot.
Yeah.
They should try their Indian bowlers. They should try Kamlesh Nagarkoti. They should try...
Just anybody, any young kid that you're taking a flyer on. This is what Mumbai are doing, and it is literally the only thing that is working for them.
I mean, we'll talk about Mumbai. I have a few things to say about their talent scouting in the positive direction, but yeah, I mean, these guys, Chennai needs to try something different. You know, Pati Rana is not gonna do everything for you.
Although he is a lot of fun to watch.
He is a lot of fun to watch. I want to say one more thing, which is that Mukesh Chaudhary. Where the hell is he?
Yeah.
I don't see
You're
any...
bowling Jamie Overton, and you have Mukesh Chaudhary on your freaking bet. They don't want to win.
I don't understand where Mukesh Chaudhary is.
Is he injured?
Not that I can see anywhere. I've looked everywhere. And also Khalil. Shout out Khalil.
Yeah.
My boy. Always loved him. Freaking God he is. And
everybody named Ahmed or Ahmed or any variation of that name.
You know Muhammad Shami used to be Shami Ahmed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he changed it to Muhammad Shami.
It's simpler. It's easier to remember two names.
I guess. Shami Ahmed is also pretty easy to remember.
That's true.
But you're not. I mean, they've been playing Khalil, which he's been getting wickets every game.
Yep.
They haven't been playing Mukesh Chaudhary, and I guess fair play because there's two lefty pacers in the squad then. But the difference is Khalil is an in-swing bowler to the right-hander.
Yeah.
He bowls that angle that Trent Bolt bowls, right? From for lefty would be over, left arm over, and he swings it into the right hand batter. But Mukesh can bowl either. He's a special player because he can bowl either left or in swing or out swing.
And he's not taking up a foreign player slot, and he's not English.
I don't know why Jamie Overton's playing. There's some mismanagement going on in the booth, so to speak. So they need to fix that.
They might just be bored from winning championships. I don't know.
It's been a few years though.
It's only been 2, right? Did they not win 2 years ago?
Did they not win 2 years ago? They won, 2023.
Yeah. And 2022 was Gujarat, and 2021 was Mumbai, right?
2020. First of all, 2023, Chennai. 2022, Gujarat. 2021, Chennai.
So
they've had some pretty...
And then 2020 was Mumbai, right?
2020 was Mumbai. 2020
over Delhi.
2019 was Mumbai as well. Over Delhi and over Chennai, respectively.
We will get to Mumbai later. I have a stat about Mumbai that I'm...
Let's get into them now. We're done with Chennai.
You want to get into them now? Okay. I saw this on the screen during today's match. Let me take a step backwards here. We love King Jared Kimber on YouTube. We watch him a lot. One of the things that I learned from him early on when I was learning about T20 cricket is that it's such an even sport that it is incredibly difficult for any T20 team, even at the time, Mumbai Indians, who were the best team in organization in the IPL as of 2020, basically, even a team like that struggles to win 60% of their games. Since 2021, since they won their last championship, Mumbai Indians have lost 60% of their games. And I have a theory as to why that is, but I think we should go through a little bit more of how it's been this season first before I get into my schadenfreude theories about Mumbai Indians.
Again, they're at 1 win and 2 losses. Big thing here, the dud they have facing the first ball of every innings. I don't understand it. I'm getting a lot of heat for this because they want Hardik out so badly in Mumbai, and they want Rohit back as captain.
I also believe that Hardik. I have a theory that Hardik is trying to play his way out of Mumbai. Period.
That's insane. That's an insane theory. I mean, it's not baseless. It's possible.
I have a very strong base for it, actually.
Let it rip.
So playing your way out of a city is something we see in American sports all the time. I mean, the example I think of the most, non-basketball fans, please look this up. It's really funny. James Harden playing his way out of Houston by getting extremely fat. That's just the one that I think of first. But in cricket, I think playing your way out of a situation is not easy in cricket, because if you play too poorly, you're going to face accusations of match fixing, especially if you're a guy with a really good record like Hardik Pandya. So he can't just play like shit intentionally. However, as captain, it seems that he is doing certain things to massively hamper Mumbai Indians that are very subtle and hard for people to see, namely slow over rate. He was suspended from the first match because of slow over rate. In the second match, they lost a fielder outside the circle for the final over for slow over rate.
For those of you who don't know the rule for slow over rate, once you have been behind the over rate, for the final back end of the innings, you have to bring in a fielder. Normally, you're allowed 5 fielders outside the 30-yard. Now you're allowed 4 if you're penalized for your over rate.
This is, for baseball fans, sort of cricket's answer to the pitch clock. It's a longer running clock, I guess. And if you go too slow for too many matches, you can be suspended. So if Hardik can't play, he can't do anything. And I would say that the biggest reason why I didn't see his innings timer against KKR, but I would say one of the biggest reasons why he didn't get dinged for slow over rate in this match is that KKR only lasted 16 overs.
Yep.
So this is one of the things I will be monitoring very closely. Hardik has not been he did not bat particularly well in the first match, although he was very, very good with the ball against KKR. So if you have that leverage as captain and you don't want to play for the team that you're currently playing for, I think that you have a lot of leverage to very, very subtly cost your team in ways that are designed to piss off management.
I would push back because I think overrate is very obvious. It's a pretty obvious thing. No one gets penalized the way he's gotten penalized. Suspension, and then this thing. It's too obvious.
But it's not the type of thing that you would accuse someone of match fixing for. If Hardik made 7 straight innings of 5 off 20,
it's actually the easiest thing to accuse somebody of match fixing for. No ball is an overrate, really, if you see it.
Shit. All right. Fair enough.
There goes the theory.
I feel like it would be easier to get somebody for match fixing on just bad deliveries, intentionally bowling poorly, intentionally bowling bad lengths, bad lines, and intentionally going for runs.
Yes. Well, intentionally going for runs. See, you can't really help if you get out for 5. So if you're in a bad run of form, there's a time. So
no, but I mean, as a bowler, intentionally going for runs, if you are a decently skilled bowler, you can locate the ball in places that it's easy to hit. I'm a Punjab Kings fan. I've seen this happen many, many times.
Yes, but I also want to say that his stats aren't so bad in the bowling department this year that you'd be like, "Whoa, that's weird."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
2 matches he's played, he's given 39 runs in 6 overs. at an economy rate of 6.5.
So that's very good.
It's actually great.
It's great, yeah.
Like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, whoa.
But if he's doing it too slowly, right? And I don't think I've seen anybody else get penalized for slow over rate since the WPL.
Yeah.
I think Gujarat got dinged for slow over rate in one of the later matches of the WPL.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't seen the extra fielder inside the circle since then for anybody.
Yeah. Dhoni used to be very much like bad at overrate because he takes his time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen this happen.
And I don't remember him taking a shit ton of time when he was captain in Gujarat. I think he's very mad that he was traded back to Mumbai, and I don't think he wants to be there anymore.
He's the one who orchestrated the trade, though. And I also say, like, the thing with him is that...
He had his own team that was just him.
Yeah.
If he had stayed with Gujarat forever, he would have been synonymous with the franchise. He would have been in the same way that, like, Rohit Sharma is with Mumbai, but Rohit Sharma didn't even play his whole career with Mumbai. In fact...
I think it's the cut. It's like the comeback that he wanted. He was cut from Mumbai, went and won a championship, came back to captain the team over Rohit. That's a prestige thing, you know? I would see why that's attractive to somebody. You want to be a bigger fish in a big pond.
But I also think the Ambanis wanted him back like fucking crazy.
They did, yeah. And of course, you don't say no to the Ambanis.
Which is why I'm like, did he orchestrate the trade, or like, did Akash come home one day and say, "I'm tired of watching Hardik play against me"?
If he had not orchestrated the trade or at least had a hand in it, he wouldn't have inserted a captaincy clause into the contract, which he did, and they accepted. I think he wanted to be here but I will also say the reason he was so quick as a captain on Gujarat was because Ashish Nehra is a very involved coach.
Yeah.
Right now, his coach is kind of docile. Right now, it's kind of like it's all on him. And he may not be the best captain.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. As much as I love the guy, he's not the best captain. Rohit is obviously 10 times better.
But is Rohit even playing well enough to be in the team consistently right now?
Definitely not. He's a specialist captain. But he's not even captain. So what are we even doing here?
What are we even doing here is throwing a bunch of young Indian bowlers at the wall and seeing what sticks, which is most of them.
It's crazy to me because, you know, Rohit Sharma last year was starting to be used as an impact player. They're not doing that this year. And I want to make special note of one Mumbai player by the name of Robin Mintz.
Robin Mintz is not him. I'm sorry.
I feel really bad for him because he's got the technique. He's nervous. I can see it. He's very nervous. The 2 games he did play, 3 off 9 and 3 off 6, most recently against Gujarat, he was used as an impact player. He's just nervous, and it's sad because I don't want him to be subbed off and to be, you know, forgotten, but he's not ready for the IPL yet. He needs another year in the nets preparing for this and really cultivating his hitting skills, because the skill that is coveted in the IPL is ball one. You go after them.
Yep.
And he was a little tentative, you know? He doesn't want to lose his wicket. You can see it. He has something to prove, as opposed to reckless abandon, which is what people love now. And by people, I mean selectors for IPL teams.
Yeah. Robin Mintz reminds me a lot of a young lad who used to play for the Punjab Kings by the name of Raj Angad Bawa, who, funnily enough, is now in the Mumbai squad. And it occurred to me, like, if they dropped Robin Mintz for Raj Angad Bawa, I would probably split in half.
Not entirely out of the realm because he's just not been firing, you know.
But like, I don't know. Maybe Raj is ready for the IPL now. But just to think of those 2 guys both being in that same team, and like those being the 2 guys that I've seen batting in the IPL that looked the least ready.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's probably a guy to keep in the organization to continue retaining.
Mm-hmm.
But
he might be. I mean, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think today they got it right. They got Ashwini Kumar in. Look, Naman hasn't really been firing this year. But I do believe in him.
He made some runs in the first match, I think. Or the second. I think he made some runs. 17 off 12 against CSK.
He scored 35 and 3, bro. Highest score of 18 not out. He hasn't done anything this year.
Yeah.
And, that's not to say, last year he had a 177 strike rate with an average of 23. That's what they're retaining him for. And I do believe he will deliver that. It's just going to take him maybe some more time. Finally, in the third game against KKR, they used Rohit as an impact player. And I think that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
He still sucked. I think he's given his wicket to Andres so many times at this point. It's always a short ball that he can't play.
Well, he's old. Reaction time.
I guess. He's also lazy. But
he's also, again, SCCA old guy.
He is.
Speed run.
Big time. Big
Era.
time. Yes. I also will say he has a heavy workload. I mean, he just played the Champions Trophy, for God's sake.
Yeah.
He just won the Champions Trophy. It's a lot for him.
The one thing I learned about Rohit Sharma this week, which I should have known, is that the phrase Chargers legend Rohit Sharma is completely accurate.
It is.
So let's induct him in with LT.
Adam Gilchrist.
And we can bring in Rohit Sharma and Adam Gilchrist with LT and Phillip Rivers and Junior Seau and Antonio Gates and welcome to the NFL's 4077th team, Rohit.
For those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about, he used to play for a team called Deccan Chargers, which was the Hyderabad team at the time.
And from what I know about them, they were kind of similar to the LA Chargers, but they did win a championship.
Exactly. They're immediately not similar to the LA Chargers because they've won
but
something.
Didn't they have to fold because all of their players got banned for match fixing?
Is that right?
I think that's what I read.
I don't think
Or
so.
they kept complaining because their players kept getting banned for match fixing, which is big Chargers energy.
The reason that the Deccan Chargers were banned was because they weren't paying their players on time. They had no money.
I understand that the Chargers are not acting like this now, but most of our history we've acted like a poverty franchise. So yeah,
except for now.
Well, we also have people in charge of the team now who are very capable of getting value for cheap. But we are talking about Mumbai Indians, who also have people involved who are good at getting value for cheap, as we've seen with a couple of very good young bowlers who have been in the lineup. Starting from the first match, Vignesh Putur came in and had a hell of a debut, taking 3 wickets, and then they dropped him. Good going, guys. Really deserving to beat Gujarat Titans there. Wow. Genius, I tells you. Genius.
It's interesting that they did not play Vignesh because they played Mujibur Rahman,
who is a more experienced bowler, but went at an economy rate of 14.
Two overs for 28 runs, 1 wicket. And, yeah.
And you waste a foreign player slot? And you have a guy who took 3 wickets, and you're bowling in the first innings in Ahmedabad, which is not when the dew is out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get it. But luckily, they brought him back in today against KKR, and he took a wicket, although he did go at 10.5 and over. But
the only one to go for runs in the whole lineup is kind of sad. And he was subbed off for Rohit Sharma. So, what are you going to do? I also want to make special note of Deepak Chahar.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Has been I didn't know he could bat. Maybe he couldn't bat until now. I mean, what the hell?
He has been a veritable all-rounder this season.
He really has been.
Maybe even one of the best players in the Mumbai squad.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would go so far as to say that. I mean, 28 off 15 in the first game, which was against Chennai. Which
led me to say that Deepak was neither the best Deepak nor the best Huda, because Surya Kumar made 32 off 29. 29 of 26, excuse me.
Surya Kumar's not a Huda.
No, but he played a Huda innings.
Oh, I see. God, I was going to say, one of my calls was going to be, early in the week, one of my calls was going to be, drop Surya. He's past his prime.
I felt the same way about him after the first match, and then he started making runs, and honestly, I'm not happy about it.
Me neither.
And he played some really good shots against KKR, and I was just like, I wish he wouldn't do that.
Even before the KKR game, the Gujarat game, he scored 48 off 28. And that's, you can't, I got nothing. Keep him.
It's one of those packs that we like smoking on, but we can't smoke on it today.
Yeah. Tilak Verma, on the other hand, great player, just hasn't gotten going.
I know. And I'm sad to see it, because he's also a beautiful man.
Beautiful, beautiful man.
I'll be rooting for him to make some more runs, though. I like Tilak Verma.
I love him. He's a great guy. And I'm rooting for Hardik Pandya. Wherever he goes, I want him to win. And I hope he does a great job this year. I hope he can come back from this. Because they have 1-1 and 3, which is not terrible. And half the league has done the same thing. So I hope to God that they do it. The only thing I will... So basically my calls for this team. Drop Rohit, please. Get Robin Mintz, unfortunately, out of the squad, which they did today. And I think, as far as their bowling is concerned, I think they're doing fine.
What's up with Bumrah?
He's injured.
Is he out for the year, or is he coming back? He's got to be coming back. If they're going to do anything, they need him.
So Bumrah's on the borderline of having a fracture. He bowled
And it's in his back.
Yeah.
Which is not... They can't mess around with that.
They're over bowling him.
Yeah.
You know how many overs he bowled against Australia in 5 test matches, which is 10 innings.
Oh my god.
Well, it doesn't seem that bad for 10 innings, but it's still a lot.
I mean, an over is an over. In one test series, how many overs did he bowl?
151.2.
That is a lot.
That's an average of 15 overs per innings.
It's also like probably twice as many overs he's going to bowl in the entire IPL.
Oh, I mean, look at it. 14 games, 4 overs each. That's 56 overs. It's it's 1/3. That's 1/3 of what he bowled in a month for these guys.
In basically the same time frame. Oh yeah. He needs his time off.
Yeah, he does. But the bowling attack both the batting and the bowling look lackluster for Mumbai, and that has to do with captaincy, I'm afraid. I think that there's all like individual people trying to come in and do their best without a captain uniting them and motivating them to do their best. It looks like just individual guys trying to cobble something together.
You know what I want to see from Hardik Pandya?
His abs?
Obviously. But beyond that, I want to see 108 off 43 with the bat. I want to see 5 for 20 in 4 overs with the ball. And I want to see him take 3 fiscal hours to finish his bowling innings. And I'll be able to die happy.
I agree. Any final thing you want to say? I mean, they're doing the best that they can with the management of the squad.
Well, and I also think 2021 is, 2 or 3 years after Akash took over for Nita in charge of MI? He is running them into the ground faster than we thought.
God.
If things don't change there, MI fans, get ready to become the 2010s New York Knicks. Do I feel bad for you? No. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. Yeah, that's all.
Let's get to PBKS. I think you should talk about
It's time. That. Yeah, I have been muzzled for long enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched my team chase 262 last year, and I still think this might be my favorite match I've ever seen PBKS play, or 261. I've never seen my cricket team looking like this. There's a part of me that's like, what happened? Where did they go? Shreyas as captain is obviously a huge bit.
I think that's the big change.
It's a big change, but we just feel different. The guys feel different. The look around the squad feels different. There's even some swagger in there from some of these young guys. I've not been this happy watching cricket in a very long time.
Good for you, man.
You won the championship last year.
It's old news.
Oh my god.
Different captain, old news.
Oh my god. When the Chargers win the Super Bowl, you are gonna goddamn fucking appreciate it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So opening the batting, and this is one of my big W's from the IPL preview. I floated that opening the batting would be a young man who put up some big numbers in the SMAT, Mr. Priyansh Arya, and Priyansh fucking delivered. He was dropped by Arshad Khan early on, so and Arshad,
what a doozy that was.
yeah, Arshad Khan had kind of a interesting day. He had to do most of the fielding for GT today because he also took 3 catches. So like, I don't know how mad I can get at him for that. But Priyansh 47 off 23, opening the batting. I don't think as long as I've been a PBKS fan, we've had an opener who can bash like that. Like KL, Mayank, oh God, Mayank Agarwal.
You know, you made him captain for a while.
I remember. We retained him. We retained him ahead of the last mega auction, and Arsh, and that was it. This is the team that I used to have to cheer for. Anyway, you know, Shikhar is obviously a great player, but basically eyes and reflexes gone by the time he was captaining our team, and was not, you know, burning at the front. Nothing like Priyansh with his 204.34 strike rate. Certified fucking awesome. Love this. At number 2, Prob made 5 off 8, which, like, yeah, that fucking happens.
You know what else happens?
What?
All the time?
What?
You know what I'm going to say?
What?
I can't believe you guys picked Maxwell.
We're gonna get to Glenn. Don't worry. We're gonna get to Glenn. You better have your phone out recording video when we get to Glenn, because Glenn and I need to have a word.
The whole PBKS analysis is going to be on film.
Oh, Glenn is at 5 down. We're at 0 down still. Prob 5 off 8.
By the way, he was at 3 down. Just so you know.
Prob isn't at 3 down.
No, Maxwell was at 3 down.
3, whatever. He batted 5.
Oh, bad at 5. Okay. I got you.
Prob made 5 off 8. This is a thing that happens, but if Priyansh Arya continues to make runs, it's a thing that can't happen anymore, because I don't have a lot of patience for Prob becoming good if we already have another Indian opener that is slugging. But I think he probably gets at least 1 or 2 more matches before I'm like, punter, gosh, let me hold my nose and see what Josh Inglis can do up here. At number 3, the beautiful man himself, the captain.
I've never seen him play like that before. Ever.
He
looked like he had something to prove, but in the best possible way.
Yes.
Like, not like a, oh, pick me, but like a, screw you.
Yeah.
And he played like it.
He
middled everything.
It was the intent of a chip on your shoulder, but with the calmness and the resolve of a captain.
Who just won a championship.
Basically the definition of a captain's knock, 97 off of 42. 230.95 strike rate, certified sexy.
I want to make mention of how many times he hit Rashid Khan for 6s. Like, pull shots, you know. Like, heaves over the onside. Unbelievable.
All day, no problem. Not the only guy, by the way, to pump Rashid Khan in this match.
We'll get to Shashank.
But you say Shashank?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even the one I was thinking of. But
Shashank hit Rashid for at least 2 6s.
Yes, but there was somebody else. Anyway, we'll get there. Absolute definition of a captain's knock. A calm knock. Just so much poise. Looked like he meant to be there. Looked like the captain. And really led this team from the front. This is the type of leadership that we didn't even really have under KL, because half the time KL would just like eat up deliveries and hurt the team, right? This was a man who was batting with his teammates, not in spite of them. And he has the innings to show for it. At number 4, Azmatullah Omarzai, he made 16 off 15, but I just want to give him a little bit of credit, because the very first ball he hit Rashid Khan directly over his head for 6, which I thought, like, it's kind of like the equivalent of, like, you know how they say when you get to prison, like, you're supposed to just punch the biggest guy in there? Like, that's basically what he did, and big respect. I also, I don't feel like he bowled particularly well, But I liked watching him bowl, and I didn't notice that he went for 14.5 and over. And then we get to number 5.
Woo!
Glenn.
It's the dumbest shot I've ever seen to open a season.
So I told you before this broadcast, Ariane, we were talking about how one of the dumbest takes a sports fan can possibly have is they point to something that happened on the pitch, and they say, I could do that.
Yes.
Ariane, I put it to you that I could absolutely go out ass before wicket to an IPL bowler. I could completely do it. To be a little bit charitable to Glenn Maxwell, the ball tracking was later done on this, and it was missing the top of the wicket. I don't care. If the ball hits your ass and you are given out, you walk. That is so embarrassing.
It also looked as plumb as they come.
Oh, yeah. The only person that could get away with not walking in that situation is Sunil Narayan because he has ESP and he knows that ball would have missed the top of the wicket. This was absolutely terrible. And I want to talk about a theme that we were talking about during the Champions Trophy involving Mr. Sunny G and Mr. Akshar Patel. When Sunny G said that Akshar Patel's batting was totally uncalled for and, as I termed it, out of pocket. Sonny, this is out-of-pocket cricket. This is what out-of-pocket cricket looks like. This, by the way, we're talking about out-of-pocket award for the year. Glenn Maxwell, #1 frontrunner. Reverse freaking sweep on the first ball. Honestly, one of Danny Morrison's best calls I've ever heard him say, because as soon as Sai Kishore was running in, Danny just goes, he can play all the shots, but sometimes he tries to play them all at once, and bam, he goes out ass before wicket. Like, oh my God. Glenn. Next up, Marcus Stoinis, 20 off 15. I'll take it. Like him to strike a little bit faster than that, but I'll take it.
Bowled well, too.
Yeah. Yep. Very useful, exactly what I want out of Marcus, and much better batting than he was doing in the Big Bash this year, so that is encouraging. And then, at number 7, one of my favorites, one of your least favorites, Mr. Shashank Singh.
I like him.
Yeah, but you didn't like him the last time you played KKR now, did you?
Oh. I think if you're talking about as a human being, constantly assaulting the team, then yeah, I don't like him. But yeah, go ahead.
As a cricketer, he's pretty hard not to like.
He's great. He's fantastic.
Awesome. And one of the coolest stories, too, because we nearly bought the wrong Shashank Singh. Which is the maybe peak BBKS. And maybe, honestly, that's why we're doing so well, is because we peaked when we nearly bought the wrong Shashank Singh, and now it's all downhill and we're turning into an actual cricket team. From the bowling side, a lot of carnage, a lot of very good bowlers going for quite a lot of runs. Mohammad Siraj at 13.5 and over, 4 overs, 54 runs, no wickets. This is not a trend that would continue with Mohammad Siraj. I think this had a lot to do with our batting. Keiso Rabada, 4 overs, 1 for 41. Totally normal figures when he bowled for us. Rashid Khan, 12 and over, 4 overs, 1 for 48. Those have to be some of his worst figures in the IPL. Not a good one, but
He hasn't been having the best IPL.
But he's not usually that bad.
That's what I'm saying. He's not been good,
yeah.
like, both in the first game, the second game, and the third.
They've only played 2 matches. Are
Both the
you
first and-
foreshadowing?
I'm foreshadowing.
There we go. One bowler from the GT side was very effective, and I would like to talk about him because I find him very interesting. Tall left arm spinner, Mr. Sai Kishore. 4 overs, 3 for 30, 7.5 and over. Definitely the outlier in this bowling attack, and was really, really effective in cleaning up our guys, and only one of them was completely given away, which was Maxwell. I thought Sai Kishore was really good, and honestly, like, his last couple overs went for a lot, but, like, he had only given up, like, 2 or 3 runs through his first 2 overs. So, I was very, very impressed with his bowling. The other thing that caught my eye about Sai Kishore is that if he is not smiling, he always looks like he is staring at something horrific. Like, he has resting tragedy face, and it fascinates me.
RTF.
But, like, he does smile a lot, and he had a lot to smile about in this match. So, good for you, Sai Kishore, and I think he's made a fan out of me.
Wow. Yeah, he's been
I'm
great.
in.
He's been wonderful. You didn't mention one thing, which is that it was 12 versus 10. I'm talking about the fact that Sherfane Rutherford was playing for you. The amount of deliveries from Vishak, by the way, that he just straight up swung and missed. And it was like he was bowling a wide off stump line. You can't shuffle. Tevatia played like 2 balls.
That's what I was thinking of the entire time, is if you bowl that line to Tevatia, it's going out of the ground.
Exactly. It took Tevatia a ball to be like, oh, let me just shuffle.
It didn't even take him a ball. He has played, like, he dominates the Punjab Kings better than anybody else. He knows exactly what ball is coming. So, yes, Sherfane Rutherford got completely bamboozled by our wide lines. I also think that there was some very good disciplined bowling from Vijay Kumar Vaishak.
Oh, yeah, big time.
My one what if is, I know why they didn't do it, because it's the second innings and there's a ton of dew, but tall left arm spinner taking wickets at the other end, what if it was Harpreet Brar? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He might have gone for a lot of runs because he couldn't grip the ball.
Yeah. Plus, when you're defending, you always want to go with a pacer for the Yorkers and the wide lines.
Yes.
You know, spinners always go for runs. It's just one of those rules, I guess, for good reason.
If we bowl first, though, I would be curious to see him in that lineup, although we're not going to be playing in Ahmedabad again. Nope. So that's kind of irrelevant. But that was my only what if, but Vijay Kumar Vaishak, and I really love the strategy of saving the impact player to halfway through the bowling innings, because you can see what you have with the lineup that you have, and you know, if you have a guy that's not going well, you can bring somebody new in, and you basically have a new bowler that you have 4 free overs from, and it completely changes the calculus in terms of bowling strategy. That I really liked from Punter, and I will be curious, and Treyas, and I will be really curious to see if they continue to save the impact player late into the second innings, or later into the second innings, while batting or bowling. Because last year, a lot of the times, it was like Prob for Arsh or Arsh for Prob. And I like the idea of either bringing in an extra bowler or adding in an extra finisher, right? Somebody like the Shedge Fund, who didn't even get to do anything in this match because we batted too good. Poor guy. He looked great out there. Smiling. I think, did he take a catch? He might have taken a catch. No, he didn't get to do anything. My heart goes out to the Shedge Fund, man. I'm really excited to watch him play. I guess we're gonna have to bat worse tomorrow if I'm gonna get that opportunity.
Again, it's an away game. You're playing in Lucknow. It'll be interesting to see how you guys do. Because Lucknow has been.
We've had mixed results there, although I think we've taken a couple of matches there, haven't we? I fucking hope so. I don't like Lucknow. Not a fan. So, pick of the bowlers for PBKS. Thank God. I'm so glad. Fucking finally, it was Arshdeep Singh. 4 overs, 2 for 36, lowest economy. Thank God. Number 2 was Vijay Kumar Vaishak in economy.
To quote one of my friends, it's easy to be the most economical bowler when you've already won the game. But we'll talk about Abdul Samad.
The only player for Lucknow that I like. And honestly, some of that is out of spite. Yeah. Marco Janssen 1 for 44. He was pretty good. Yuzi, not so great. Second innings due. I'm willing to chalk it up to that. I'm excited to see what he does further, but we'll be monitoring, and I think that the next match against Lucknow will go a long way to telling whether or not this is bad form or this is second innings in Ahmedabad. You know who did take a fucking wicket, which pisses me off, and it was the wicket of Sai Sudarshan, was Glenn. Can you just suck at both ends so we can drop you? Like, Glenn.
God, I don't know why you keep him.
I need to learn how to stop worrying and love Glenn Maxwell. Let's get through. I think we covered Gujarat pretty well between MI and PBKS as their opponents.
We did.
Only thing I would note is Prasid Krishna with 2 for 18 against MI.
And Siraj 2 for 34 against MI, getting the key wicket of Rohit Brohit and Rickleton, both the openers, clean bowled.
Both of those guys bowled terribly against Punjab, so I think conditions probably had a lot to do with it, and or we are way better than MI.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's talk about the Lucknow Super Giants. Let's get this out of the way.
Let's get this out of the way. It's pent up, as you can tell.
I
want to give a special shout out to a friend of mine who will probably never listen to this podcast again because he was so wrong and we were so right. And that's what we do on this podcast. We get things right. We get things right.
We know things. We read.
Abdul Cornelius Samad.
Tiberius Samad.
Now, this man is a specimen and a half. Some people who probably don't know cricket, I'm really going after my friend here, think that a career strike rate of 148.64 is bad. They're wrong, and they don't know about cricket. Abdul Samad has a career strike rate of 20. I'm sorry, average of 20.
If he had a career strike rate of 20, we would be telling a different story.
Abdul Samad has a career average of 20 and a strike rate of 148.64.
In the IPL.
Career, yes, in the IPL. Now, mind you, for somebody going 6 down with the job to just pummel the ball, 20 is a great average, and 148 is a great strike rate. Last 3 years, his strike rates have been 132, 168, and 275. Last year's strike rate was...
So that 148 is massively skewed by 2 years ago.
By 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and 4 years ago. But then 5 years ago, in 2020, his strike rate was 170.76. After that, so I'll just go through his yearly strike rates. 2020, it was 170. 2021, it was 127. 2022, he only played 2 games. So let's just ignore it, in fact. It was 57 strike rate, but whatever.
It doesn't count.
2023, 132.
Fake news.
Now, he told me, the friend told me, wow, in your IPL preview, you said Abdul Samad's price tag of 4-point-something crores.
For a guy that strikes at, was it 220 that you said?
275.
270
this year.
No, last year though.
Oh, last year 168.
It strikes at 168.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? His price tag of 4.2 crores is you think it's good? Wow, you're crazy. Man comes in. Man conquers.
First of all, not picked for the first match against Delhi, which is like...
which he said, oh, wonder why that happened. You know what?
Wonder why that happened, because my captain's a dumbass.
Exactly. I mean, that is no reflection on Abdul Samad. It's a reflection on what they want to do as a team. I mean, whatever, you know?
It's a reflection on Lucknow being unserious, which I don't think we're going to be able to talk about that match in depth, but unserious would describe the way that Lucknow played, especially towards the back half of the second innings.
LSG lost to Delhi in a very close game. Fair enough, right? Now
they should not have lost, though.
They shouldn't have lost.
They let Smash Utosh go from... Which I will just say, like, if you were in a PBKS situation, being, like, 6 down for no runs, like, having a Punjab king to call upon in that situation is a great thing to have.
Yes.
And Smash Utosh also played a classic KL innings of 20 off 20 to... What did he finish with? 66 off 31, which is to say he scored 46 runs in 11 balls after going full KL for the first 20. They blew this. They made 209 for 8 and completely blew it. And they probably would have made more runs if they picked Abdul Samad.
Yep, they would have.
I will say
because, sorry, before you continue.
Yeah.
Badoni, Thakur, and Ahmed. Shabaz Ahmed, that is.
Yeah.
I like Shabaz Ahmed, but those 3 put together scored 13 runs in 15 balls.
And I will say about Ayush Badoni, if he does not start firing soon, this team is in trouble. He is their primary finisher.
But they're not, because they have Abdul Samad now.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying to you. Abdul Samad is...
I still think that they're in trouble because if Rishabh Trousers is not making runs and Aiden Markram is not making runs and most of your top order is not making runs, which it still appears to be the case for Lucknow across 2 matches, I guess it's really just Mitchell Marsh and Nicholas Boran. Everybody else, and Abdul Samad and David Miller, obviously. Everybody else has been varying degrees of useless, and at least 1 or 2 of them need to be less useless. over the rest of the season.
You know, we talk about, I don't know what this guy's going to have to say. You know what? I feel like I have something to prove to this friend of mine. Let's ignore him because...
Well, I just want to say one thing about this entire incident, which is it reminded me of one of my favorite moments from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Love that show. Never seen it.
So let me sum it up like this. Let me take you bitches to school for a second. In this country, in the real world, people make runs. And somebody is going to make a ton of runs in this IPL, and we don't see why it shouldn't be Abdul Samad.
It already is Abdul Samad. Now, for comparison, you just mentioned Ayush Bardoni is one of their key finishers.
Yes.
Would you like to know how much they paid for him? Eerily similar to a certain Abdul Cornelius Tiberius Samad.
I would have thought he would have cost more money. Oh, did they retain him?
Yes.
Yeah, they retained him as an uncapped Indian player. Of course, he didn't cost anything.
For how much?
Probably 4-point-something crore.
4 exactly.
4 exact. So 0.2 less than Abdul Samad.
Correct.
More importantly, they bought a certain Rishabh trousers for 27 fiscal crores, which is more fiscal crores than have ever been given to a cricketer in the history of the IPL ever. And he has scored less runs in 2 innings than Abdul Samad scored in 8 balls.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at Bardoni's stats. Because it's a like-for-like comparison we're making here, right?
Yes.
Allegedly,
Not a Nick to Smriti comparison.
Right. Allegedly, Samad is not worth his price tag. Maybe Bardoni, being a budding star and whatnot, maybe he's better. Maybe he's worth the price tag that Samad was given.
Can I just say something quickly about Bardoni?
Please.
The only thing standing between him and like 12 crores is an Indian cap. Like,
I guess you're right.
Like,
which is crazy to me when you hear his stats.
He would have gone for probably at least twice that if he had gone to the open market.
Take a look at his stats. Career average, 23. Not bad. Not bad. Career strike rate, 133.
You know what it is? His career average against Punjab Kings is about 6 billion, and his strike rate is a Googleplex. So against us,
Yep.
So that's why you know what? Maybe he just needs to play us tomorrow, and he'll regain his form.
133 career strike rate. Career. 2025 strike rate of 90, with an average of 5 in 2 innings. 2024. Average was high, 29. Strike rate still 137. Then 2023, strike rate 138. 2022, strike rate 123. His strike rate has never been in the 140s for a season, for a single season. And Samad has been doing that consistently for the last 2 seasons, and then 1 season in 2020.
And oh, by the way, he's done it this year.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where the doubt for Abdul Samad comes. Fantastic player, fantastic finisher. The only finisher you need, really. And to get him at 4.2, you are robbing this bank.
Yes.
You are robbing the league for 4.2 crore. That's my spiel on Abdul Samad. Let's talk about the rest of LSG before I increase my blood pressure.
Mitchell Marsh and Nicky P.
Yeah.
Working.
Eden Markram.
Yeah. Is he going to be in the squad in the next match? We will see.
We will see. Prince Yadav.
Prince Yadav and his powerful name. I like him.
I like that name.
I like his name and I like his cricket.
Now, I want to say this about the LSG in general. You can tell, first of all, Prince Yadav was given too many overs in the first game against Delhi. He got hit. He got smoked. He and Ravi Bishnoi got smoked. And Shabazz Ahmed. Now, it just goes to show you, Shardul Thakur, 2 for 19 in 2 overs. Wasn't given any more overs. Rishabh Trousers.
God, he really is not a good captain. And with what DC has done so far this year, was he the problem?
1000%. Akshay Patel's a great captain as well. We'll talk about him. But Trousers, bad captain, not scoring runs, great keeper, no doubt. But he doesn't know how to juggle his bowlers.
You cannot have a 27 crore specialist wicket keeper.
Agreed.
Only Punjab Kings can do that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's rough on him because he can't captain. And I don't know. My thing is this, like, to play for a team like LSG where the owners openly and publicly humiliate their players. I don't know if you saw the clip of KL Rahul getting yelled at by the LSG owners.
No.
In public, yeah.
Well, the guy who owns LSG is so freaking vain that he has to name every team that he owns after himself.
Yeah. He came, KL Rahul was crying after that in the post-match because he was just being yelled at by the owner and his wife. So to play for a team like that, Trousers is going to get smacked. He's in trouble. I don't know why anybody would even...
KL Rahul has caused me some pain in my life, but he doesn't deserve to cry.
Neither does Trousers, honestly. He's been through a lot. Namely the car accident.
What did KL Rahul ever do to you, other than...
No, I agree. I like KL Rahul.
KL Rahul did a lot of things to me.
Did he?
Yeah, like get out too early.
Or not get out too early, because he takes 50 balls to score 64.
Or open the batting instead of batting at 5, which appears to be his, like... Oh, he's so good coming down the order for Delhi. Anyway.
That was a call I made, by the way.
Yup. Common Ariane W.
Common dub. But yeah, I feel bad for Trousers because he can't captain, and he keeps being forced to captain. I'm sure he likes it, but it's not...
He probably likes the 27 crores, too.
Of course.
The one thing I'll say about LSG is I would be talking way more shit if we weren't playing them tomorrow. From a neutral perspective, I've not been impressed with this team. I would say that SRH lost to them more than LSG beat SRH, in a manner of speaking, if that makes sense.
It does.
I also think, let's move on to SRH.
Yeah, because I was going to say this about SRH. They are too top-heavy,
Yes.
And that's why Aniket Verma is a great find for them. 36 off 13 deliveries against LSG, and he really
and he made 70 against Delhi.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah. He was the only guy who really fired against Delhi, except for Travis Head, but Travis Head always...
And Clausen.
But even Clausen was only at 168. That's his norm. I mean, that's a very good strike rate, but it's not his normal. He only made 32 runs. And they lost. The thing about Hyderabad is that I think that a lot... Like, people attribute the high run total to the impact players so much... I think that some of their high run totals may have something to do with the fact that their home deck is flat as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I so many of these high scores are coming out of Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and Kolkata.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's 3 grounds specifically.
Not even really Kolkata, to be honest.
Well, there was a certain 261 that was scored at Kolkata, and then a certain 262 that was scored at Kolkata on the same day. But
that was Eden Gardens?
Yes.
I got nothing.
But, like, I haven't seen these types of scores, like, 200-plus scores, sure, but, like, not the same types of holy shit, pop your eyes out of your head type of scores. Like, not any of these, like, were pushing 300 type of scores like Sunrisers did in their first match. Mm-hmm. But I think there's some alarming things, namely, Abhishek Sharma not firing outside of the first match.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about Mr. Pat Cummins in at number 8.
You think he should? Why?
Because I think he should be batting further down than that. I think that...
What?
I don't think he's consistent enough in terms of being...
You think further down than 8? Who's gonna come behind? Harshal Patel?
I would rather have a finisher there, bring in a finisher as an impact player, and bring in Pat at number 9. I don't think dude, he striked once every 3 years. He hits absolutely everything in sight, and every other time he makes 2 off 7 like he did in the last match.
I don't know. I disagree with that.
Okay, I mean you know the Pat Cummins experience much better than I do as a KKR fan.
Yes, I think he's good with the bat. I think he's great. I think number 6 is actually just about right for him. Number 6 down.
6 down.
Number 8 is just about right for him because also think about who are your other options? Mohammad Shami, Harshal Patel, right?
That's true. They may not have the all rounders that they need. The other thing is Abhinav. You know what's not helping is Abhinav Manohar needs to make runs. He's not doing shit.
Yeah, I mean 3 games he's played, he's scored a total of 6 runs.
I don't think he's topped 100 in strike rate.
Nope. 0 off 1, 4 off 6, and 2 off 6.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
And I love Abhinav Manohar. I think he's a great player. So it's only a matter of time before he gets going. I don't doubt him.
He may need to get dropped and come back though. But then again, who do they put in his place?
I mean, what are the woes that SRH is facing?
One and two. I think they're in. I'm more concerned about SRH than I am about KKR.
I think it's
because they're not making runs on their own flat ass deck.
Look, I think the top heaviness is actually getting to them now for sure.
Yeah.
They need to rectify that. And yeah, Abhinav Manohar's scoring would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Aniket Verma.
But he's already scored. He's been the finest. In some ways, he's been their player of the season. Because Ishan Kishan did not make any runs after shutting us the fuck up in the first match.
What I'm going to say is this. Ishan Kishan scored the century. Doesn't change the fact that he needs to be dropped. It really doesn't. Because Ishan Kishan is such a waste of space. They have Heinrich Klaassen to keep.
Yeah. And he's always going to be in the squad anyway.
Bring in a one-down batsman that's solid. That's absolutely solid. You know? I don't think this is working out. You know?
He needs to find more consistency. It's clear the maturity isn't there yet. He has so much talent. The problem is
Kishan?
Yeah. If he can make a fucking century in the IPL, he has a lot of talent.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
he does not. What the problem with Ishan Kishan is that he knows he has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And he carries himself like his talent matches his results, which they do not.
I mean, look, the guy's getting paid 11.25 crore. How does that not get to your head? You know what I mean? And
yeah, but he's been getting paid big money for his whole career since he first went to Mumbai. You know.
Yep. And it's
maybe
crazy.
Not that much, but like
it's crazy because his average is 29. His career average is 29 with a strike rate of 137. That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I like that average, and that strike rate is good.
His energy is just so annoying that you miss it completely. And also, he'll make a century and then go out for a golden duck in literally the next match.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, if these guys take off Ishan Kishan, they're gonna see meadows open up for them. You know, they need to sub in a player that can give you the stability at one down, and that person is never going to be Ishan Kishan.
Yeah.
You know, try a new Indian player, Sachin Baby.
Why not?
He's been around. You know,
he's been around enough to be picked in the IPL every single freaking year.
Exactly, and never played. So Sachin Baby is an option. Atharva Taide is another option.
Punjab Kings legend, even though he only played one match. But I'd see him in at 3 down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You mean 1 down?
1 down. What I always say number 3, and then I say down at the end, but it's actually anyway. Y'all know what I mean. I'd be interested to see what he would do. I never
Just so
felt
you know,
that great.
Just so you know, I'm sorry to cut you off. This has been me cutting you off quite a bit today.
That's okay.
Thank you. This is a healthy space. Atharva's career average is 27.4 in the IPL, 9 games.
9 games though.
Strike rate of 147. Sub him in.
Yeah,
for
that's
30,
certainly worth it. That's certainly worth a flyer.
For 30 lakhs?
Yeah.
Which is what he's getting paid?
I might throw in Sachin Baby first.
Oh, I'd agree.
Maybe I just like his name better, but
I mean, he's also less of a hitter and more of a stay till the end kind of guy.
Yeah.
And which is what they need right now. Because Abhishek Sharma and Travis had been given the license to throw their bat at everything. And Aiden Markham was fulfilling the role of stabilizing the innings before.
Yep.
He's out.
And Ishan Kishan is not going to do that for you.
Of course not. Nitish Kumar Reddy has been trying to do it, but he's too slow. Slow.
He's also been really inconsistent, and I worry that he's kind of hitting one of the first bad stretches of form in his young career, and he's hitting what is often a make or break moment for a lot of these guys, which is you go in, you have a massive season, you play for India, you do really well, and then you hit a slow spot at the IPL, and you can lose all of it. Yep. I have a lot of belief in Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Me too.
I'm honestly waiting for him to come good again, and I'm going to be really happy when he does. But they need more guys to make runs than just Aniket Verma.
Yep.
But Aniket Verma is looking like his fellow Verma Shafali out there, except he's not opening. But
nice.
He is making a lot of runs and very quickly.
They've got good bowling. They've got special shout out to Zishan Ansari.
3 big wickets.
The only 3 wickets.
The only 3 big wickets against LSG.
Against Delhi Caps.
Which
No, against Delhi Caps.
No, against Delhi Caps.
Delhi
my God.
Caps.
We're confusing teams all over the place
Confusing
today.
all over the place. I was gonna say this, and do you have anything else you want to say about SRH before we continue? Because
No, we can honestly. Who else do we have? We covered GT. It's Delhi,
Rajasthan. I want to talk about
Delhi,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Rajasthan.
Jafra Archer.
Oh,
has
yikes.
gained weight. He's gained weight, and
He's also
be,
gained runs.
Yes, he used to be such a lanky fellow, and obviously he's played very little cricket. To be honest, I mean, he just gets injured upon injured upon injured. First of all, L
needs
for
to
Jafra.
raise his interest rates because his inflation is out of control.
And it's killing this country.
It is killing this country. That's an economics joke for all who participate, which is everybody.
Yeah, willingly or unwillingly.
Yeah.
Jafra, first of all, I don't like the guy. Go ahead and say it. I don't like the guy. He should have been playing for the West Indies.
Yes.
Changed his citizenship, playing for Britain. Didn't play
If
for
he had
Britain.
changed his citizenship to play for a cooler country, I might have given him a pass considering the state of West Indies cricket in the modern age.
I'd agree.
But he went to England.
Yeah. Where else would he have gone? Australia?
New
I would
Zealand.
have backed that.
Anywhere.
Australia, New Zealand. India.
Indi-
Hello. Am I right? No, but Jafra Archer, not a great bloke. I remember every time he bowls a bouncer to somebody, he never checks up on them. And that's a huge red flag for a bowler. Don't be a dick. Check up on your batsman. He's a
I
fellow
bowl bouncers to you all the time. I only bowl bouncers to you because it's the only way that I can not get hit.
Yeah.
I feel like I check up on you most of the time. When
You do.
Yeah.
You do. You're like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. But I've never been hit on the head. Except for twice? Once? Something like
I
that.
don't think I ever hit you on the head. I mean, you've seen enough cricket deliveries. You've probably been hit on the head before.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a statistical impossibility.
You just took me back to the time when I was in form. And it made me feel bad about my current form. But that is a different podcast.
Form is temporary, and class is
forever.
permanent.
Yeah. God, I hate that. They were saying that about Kohli for
Then
3
stop
years.
being so fucking classy, bro. And it ended up being true about Kohli, didn't it?
I wouldn't consider him still.
Did he win the orange cap last year? Or he held it for a while.
He held it for a while. He didn't win it, though. Did he? Am I tripping?
I totally forgot that Harshal Patel won the purple cap.
Ugh. It was not Virat Kohli. If I'm...
It was Virat Kohli.
Last year?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, what the hell?
And Virat Kohli by a mile, 741 runs versus 583 from Gaikwad. And Rian Parag in third? What the fuck? When did that happen?
I don't know. Rajasthan was ass last year. It's crazy because Sanju Samson was stripped of his captaincy.
Well, he wasn't stripped of his captaincy. He can't keep wickets. He's
Why not?
injured.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he can't keep wickets. That's why he can't captain. And I do not think that Rian Parag has been a very good captain. He took one hell of a catch in the last match, but...
I would disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Rajasthan's been terrible.
Rajasthan has been all right.
I feel like they've been pretty mid.
I would say you can't blame them for losing to SRH with the 286. I think it's not Rian's fault that Jafra was just a major disappointment. I would say it's...
maybe he didn't need to bowl him for 4 overs when he was going at 8 billion runs and over.
He didn't have options because then he did try Nitish Rana.
Yeah.
Because Fazal Haq Faruqi was going for runs too.
Nitish Rana only went for 9 runs.
Yeah.
Everybody else went at a higher... Dude.
It's rough because... It's rough. You gotta feel for him because even Sandeep Sharma went for 51 and 4. I don't fault him for that. That's kind of a write-off. You don't like him?
No, we like Sandeep Sharma.
We love Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, damn, bro.
Punjab Kings legend. What are you talking about, bro?
Punjab Kings, please. He transcends Punjab.
He kind of does. Well, he transcends like every team because he plays for a different team like every year. But
yeah. I will say Sanju
idiots
Samson.
and we released him.
Sanju has been pretty average. Nitish finally got going last game. We'll talk about that. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been average as well.
I don't think Dhruv Jurel's been very good either.
Dhruv Jurel's been fine. Yeah, their real problem is not their captaincy. It's the batting. It's the batting and the bowling. To be honest,
It's,
I mean,
all the important cricket shit.
Yeah, the stuff that you have to do in order to win. They're not doing it.
Yeah.
Jafra finally played well against Chennai. Tushar Deshpande, I will never understand why he keeps getting contracts and why he keeps getting paid. Like,
He took an important wicket in one of these. Oh, God, 4 for 45. He was the only guy. You know what? He's a
Tushar-
CSK double agent, and that's why he did that.
fair enough. He's getting paid 6.5 crore, man. That's crazy. He's getting paid more than Abdul Samad. Unacceptable. 9 for 45 and 4 overs against Chennai. Sandeep Sharma has also been going for runs this year. Mahisha Tikshana finally.
Yeah, except for when they only bowled Sandeep Sharma for 2 overs, and he went at 5.5 and over against KKR.
You know what though? The KKR game was a lost cause.
But like he had the lowest economy rate of any of RR's bowlers, and they only bowled him for 2, I suppose, because KKR finished it up in 17.3. But even so, I guess he would have bowled. No, he couldn't have bowled 19 and 20. They weren't gonna bowl him for 4 overs no matter what happened.
Mm-hmm. I think the big issue with Rajasthan right now is Jafra Archer.
Yes. No,
That's
definitely.
the biggest
I'm not,
issue.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. But some of this bowling strategy I do not understand. It also did not help in the first match that I don't believe that Hasaranga played.
Hasaranga did, in fact,
Not play. He didn't play.
That's why they had to play Faruqi.
Yes, who was almost as bad as Jafra Archer.
76 runs in 4 overs.
That is
going to go down in history as one of the worst bowling spells.
That makes Justin Herbert against the Texans look goddamn good.
Because Cummins went for 60 and 4 in the same game. So it's not like anybody did nearly as bad as Jafra did. Jafra isn't very intelligent. He just, like, as a bowler.
Yeah.
He's a great fielder,
and he's got some raw skills.
That's about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't bowl to his field. He's just got express
I think
pace.
he made some runs in one of these matches too. Maybe.
I mean, he's a good bat. He's a good batter, so I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. It seems like that's been his most useful contribution.
He scored against SRH, 1 off 1, not out.
But he scored against. I think he scored some runs against.
16 off 7.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of, and then Duck off 2. So.
Yeah.
Maybe sub Pat Cummins bat, but yeah, I've not been impressed with this team, and
I like Rian Parag. I will say I've always liked him a lot, even when he was really not doing well.
There's just something about his face. I hate losing to him.
Yeah, losing to him sucks.
Yeah,
but I also back him as a player, as a captain. I've seen some good decisions from him. He's working with the best. He's doing the best he can with the tools that he's been given.
His catch of Shivam Dubé in the last match
awesome.
was
sick. Diving right-handed catch.
And one hand, too. That was some Odell shit.
Yeah, it really was. Congratulations to Nitish Rana. Hopefully that'll help some of their woes.
By the way, my cricket fans, look up that Odell catch if you haven't seen it. Some of the best football has to offer right there. Anyway, continue.
Shimron Hetmeyer needs to get going.
I was going to say I've been underwhelmed by him, too.
Yep. Shimron Hetmeyer's been
Although
alright.
if he gets going, it can honestly cover for everybody else.
Nitish Rana's back in form now.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Rian Parag has always been in form.
Yeah,
so,
those 3 can do it for you. The thing is
you need
that,
a fourth. You need Sanju Samson and Yashasvi.
Or Jaiswal or Dhruv Jurel.
Any one of those 3.
Yeah.
Can get going, and then you get yourself a good total. Jafra needs to be sacked. They have options here. They have, like, Ashok Sharma. They have Kumar Kartikeya Singh, Akash Madwal. And they have Mahish Tikshana. Sub off Archer and play Tikshana.
Well, they've been playing both of them. They played both of them against CSK.
You're right. They did. And they subbed on Kumar Kartikeya as impact player.
I'm thinking like maybe bring in an Indian bowler and
they
bring in
subbed
another foreign batter.
They subbed on Kumar Kartikeya as an impact player, and he gave 10 runs and 1 over. So they are trying to do something about Jafra Archer, but Jafra Archer bowled well against Chennai, so that cements his spot in the team for another 3 games.
But again, I don't think Chennai are very good.
I agree. There are a lot of new guys that could try. Ashok Sharma, Akash Madwal. There's still plenty of people. And then Faruqi, you can always try him again. Then Quina Mafaka.
Quina Mafaka.
Quina?
Try Quina Mafaka. Why the fuck not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
No. Try Quina Mafaka. If he was good enough to play for MI last year, he's good enough to get a run, instead of Jafra Archer this year. Yes. Good young prospect. Yes. Quina Mafaka. fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Put him in.
Put him in.
What
What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose?
Let's
Archer's
do it.
already, giving like 100 runs per 5 overs. So.
I don't know, like, there can't be much worse bowling figures in the IPL than 76 runs off 4 overs.
Like, all
of
time.
nothing. All time. How many more runs can you get? Like, you have to be Stuart Broad against Yuvraj Singh for 4 straight overs to do much worse than that.
By the way, just want to let you know, Jofra Archer's bowling figures against SRH worse in IPL history. 76 runs in 4 overs. The worst in IPL history.
Riley Meredith is watching from Tasmania saying, "Yeah, I wasn't all that bad now, was I?"
Before that, it was Mohit Sharma, who had given 73 runs against Delhi Capitals in 4 overs last year. I love Mohit Sharma.
Me too.
So that doesn't count.
No,
Jofra
it's fake news.
has always held it,
Yeah,
starting today.
yeah. He held it in spirit.
He held it in spirit. It just was a matter of when he'd get it.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Carrey says, "Oh, I used to write a check.
Yeah, or I
And
used to envision the $10 million check.
Like,
yeah.
I just don't have it yet. It's out there, but I don't have it yet."
Yeah.
Same with Archer.
Same with Archer, yeah.
He just didn't have it.
Yeah, he just didn't
He
have
had
it.
He
yet.
just didn't have it.
He was manifesting it the whole time.
Yeah. What's the last team we got to talk about?
Delhi.
Ugh.
I'm impressed.
Me too. I love Akshar Patel.
I love Akshar Patel. I love Smash Utosh.
I was really shocked by that. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and say this. The LBW decision, where Mohit tried to sweep the ball, and it was quote-unquote missing the stumps, that is the most rigged review I have ever seen in my entire life. That would have smashed off easy. And it was so rigged, I couldn't even believe my eyes when I saw that was missing. Nobody made a big deal of that.
Yeah, it's because it was Lucknow. It's because Lucknow lost.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I feel bad for I feel bad for Trousers, man. You gotta feel for him. But I mean, and of course,
Well,
Ashutosh
maybe Trousers should have made more than checks notes 0 runs in 6 balls.
Fair enough. But yeah, that was
He made a maiden. Trousers made a maiden for himself.
Yeah, but that was a rigged ass review, and Ashutosh cemented his career as a result, which is great. Vipraj as well, 39
Yeah,
of 15.
how
You gotta
about
love him.
that?
He was I think he was the impetus that got Ashutosh going, to be honest. Tristan Stubbs, ever the consistent.
Ever the consistent batsman, though they should never, ever, ever bowl him ever again.
I don't know why they even bother.
Ever. That was really stupid, and they deserve to lose just because of that, but, luck now.
Disappointing to see Jake Fraser McGurk hasn't quite gotten going the way that you would have hoped that he would
played
continue.
decently well in the last match against SRH, though, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, he scored
38 off 32.
The thing
That's
is,
technically a Deepak innings.
38 off 32 is not great. Anything below 120, I'd say, yeah, as a test innings. But hey, Abhishek Patel. I've always loved
Finally
the guy.
coming good.
Finally coming
and
good.
Isn't it good to see?
I mean, out of the 2 games, it took him a game to warm up, yeah. And I'm very happy to see this. Tristan Stubbs, once again, 21 off 14.
KL Rahul.
Against Sunrisers. KL Rahul, yeah.
15 off 5.
15 off 4, technically, because his 5th ball he got out. I always consider it like a ball less,
Yeah.
but maybe I shouldn't. But
Well,
yeah.
unless you run out and you make a run before you run out. Like if you run out trying to take a second.
Yeah. Faf Dupe,
Faf Dupe.
50 off
Faf
47.
Dupe consistent.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, Faf Dupe, please keep playing for my team. But he doesn't even play for my team. Whatever. Duplessis was let go by RCB in a shock move, I think.
Yeah.
That was shocker.
Captain last year, was he not?
Yeah. And, weird stuff. He should not have been let go. But Delhi really capitalized. I think they've assembled a great squad.
Yeah.
It's taken them like 3 or 4 years to get a good squad in. Now they
Well,
finally
they have 2
them.
captains now. I kind of fuck with this squad.
Yeah.
Like.
And thank God they didn't make KL captain. I'm so glad they stuck with Akshar Patel.
Well, they kind of have 2 captains on the squad too, because they have Faf as well.
That's 3 then.
Kale's not a captain. He's not a real cat. He's a guy that was appointed captain.
I
who's
mean,
good at cricket.
My thing is, any captain who's won a championship.
But Kale didn't win a championship, did he?
No, he didn't. But neither did Duplessis. So, my argument is, they're
Neither
both.
did Akshar Patel, did he?
But he just started,
That's true.
so he's got time. He's got like, I always consider like, okay, if you don't win a championship in 3 seasons, it's probably never gonna happen. To be honest.
The other thing is Archer Patel has like only ever played for basically poverty franchises. PBKS. Did he play for? No, he only played for Delhi Capitals. He didn't play for Delhi Daredevils.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did.
I think he did.
Cursed.
I believe he did. Did you know he signed up to play with Mumbai, but did not get a chance to play until he was released, and then signed by Kings 11?
They are like sorry, but for every you know, Hardik Pandya that they find out of nowhere, like there's dumb shit like this. Also, the time when Yuzi Chahal played for Mumbai Indians and they somebody almost killed him. You didn't know about that?
No.
When he was first starting out with Mumbai Indians, somebody, he's never named who it was, dangled him over a hotel balcony and nearly killed him.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen Inside Edge?
No.
I think something similar happens in that show as well. They talk a lot about like the ugliness of cricket.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
I think he was with, let me double check, make sure it was with Mumbai Indians. So he was with Mumbai Indians, so Mukesh can't sue me if
you're wrong.
If I'm wrong.
I mean, either way.
Yes, he was. It was like 2011 when he first started.
He never named who it was? Was it a player?
Never did. It was a player. He was, the two people he did name was, he was tied up in a room by Andrew Simons and James Franklin. Like tied up, like, yeah.
Andrew Simons is ridiculously problematic. I don't know why he's considered such. That's kind of why he's faded out of the dialogue.
Kind of faded out of existence, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That too. Rest in peace.
He was he lived an interesting life.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, he kind of made it interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, sidetracked.
But
Akshay Patel played for. Well, he was signed up for Mumbai, and then Delhi Capitals. No Daredevils. You're right.
So at least he avoided that horror.
Yeah, I guess so. And he said horror. Just so you know.
Horror. I'm not horror. No, the Delhi Daredevils never engaged in prostitution, even if they may have played like it sometimes.
Yeah, Vipraj is a big key find for them.
Definitely.
KL has really been. I love this role for him. He can also play with reckless abandon. He doesn't have to think thrice before he goes all out.
I dig this team, man.
Me too. I
think they're good.
And I think it's because of the captaincy that it looks so smooth.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
Vipraj didn't even have to bat in the second game because they chased down 160 for 3 wickets, which is insane.
Easy.
No Akshay required. No Vipraj. I will say, Mitchell Stark's price tag seems to be great.
Yeah.
Took a 5 against Hyderabad. I mean, his economy rate's always going to be an issue, but
if you take 5 wickets
against the Super Giants, he took 3.
You only went at 9.54.
He only went
against SRH.
Yeah,
I'll take that if you give me 5 wickets.
And he took 3 against LSG. So that's 8 wickets in 2 games, and the man is second place for Purple Cap behind Noor Ahmed, who has a game on him.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting squad to see.
Yeah, 3-4 going at 10 point. That's not terrible, especially by Mitchell Stark standards. That's not terrible.
Exactly. For any pace bowler, I feel like pace bowlers just get smacked lately.
Not for 9 runs and over, Arshdeep Singh.
How many wickets does he have? 0?
1.
Yeah.
And he ran out Tevatia in the most badass way possible.
Does that count in his wickets column? Just checking.
It doesn't count in his wickets column, but it counts in my heart. So
is your heart what the IPL committee considers when they give out the Purple Cap?
It's the only thing that they consider when they give out the Purple Cap, which is why Arsh has won it every single year, and all the other people are just fake news.
Arshdeep lost to Harshal Patel.
Yeah,
just saying.
I know. Then again, it wasn't his first time winning the Purple Cap.
Harshal's?
I don't think so. He didn't even win with RCB.
He won it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I can't.
I
can't stand Harshal Patel. I can't stand him.
2-time purple IPL Purple Cap winner Arshal Patel to you. Thank you.
This is as irritating as when Dwayne Bravo won the Purple Cap.
Oh, yikes.
Because all he bowls is cutters. You can't pick a cutter. Same with Harshal Patel. All he bowls is cutters. You can't pick cutters. Like, why am I paying you to 10 crores?
You basically have a speedy spin bowler at that point.
Yeah, you have a guy who runs quick, and then bowl spin.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
And isn't even as fun as the fizz. What are you doing? Ow, that stinks.
Wonder where that's from.
There's one more thing I wanted to touch on before we look at previewing matches and 2 minutes of football.
Yeah.
Which is Rahul Tewatia, one of my favorite players, and also Haunter of my dream.
Yeah.
I think it would be easy to watch the PBKS match and assume that Rahul Tewatia was not up to his usual tricks, and that is 100% not true. I want to close with this moment. I can't remember when it was. It was sometime in the back half of our innings, but Shreyas hit a ball that was going for 6. 100% was going for 6, and honestly, if most other fielders weren't there, it would have gone for 6. Tewatia jumps up, whacks the ball back into the field of play, somehow, and this was not your average running save or anything. This was fully in the air. This was some Michael Jordan shit right here. Okay? And he ended up saving 4 runs. Now, what does that matter, right? Gujarat lost. They lost by 11 runs, not 4 runs. What does that matter? Well, let's take a look at Shreyas Iyer's final total. 97, not out, off 42. My man is still out here costing people centuries, even if he can't win the game.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
And the poise with which he comes out to play as well, no matter what the situation is.
I love him so much.
The game was lost against PBKS, but he comes out, and I could fully see in his eyes, he thought he could do it.
He could do it. If he faced enough deliveries, he's done it 6 times before.
You know who screwed it up? The guy who allegedly plays for Gujarat, but really is on PBKS payroll.
Who am I forgetting? Why am I
Sherfane?
forgetting?
That man is a fully PBKS'd out guy.
Even though he's never played for us.
And never will.
And probably never will.
He's one of those agents that goes around from team to team, screwing people over so you can get your
Sam Curran?
Like Sam Curran. Exactly. God, that guy. These guys are sick. Unbelievable. Yeah, Shervane Rutherford was definitely playing for you. And if Tewatia had gotten more... He knew if Tewatia had got more strike, he would win it for them.
The one thing that I wish we would do with Tewatia, I wish we would set the field for the wide Yorker and bowl it directly on leg stump.
Oh, that's great.
I'll give him 1-6. I will bowl 1 wide Yorker. He can hit it out of the ground. I don't give a fuck. The next one is going on on leg stump. And... I'm curious to see what Tewatia would do with it. The worst, that has major Inzamam potential because you're talking about, big time. Major YouTube potential with that one. Basically, if he tries to play any kind of shot at it, he's gonna end up on YouTube. But Honestly, I have been waiting for PBKS to do this for 2 years since Odin Smith bowled him fucking nothing but wide Yorkers, and he slog swept every single one out of the ground. And they needed 18 to win off the last 3 balls, and they fucking did. Yeah. And with that pipe burp, do you want to just go over the schedule for the next week?
Let's do it.
Until Monday. Obviously tomorrow we have the Lucknow Super Giants against PBKS. Very excited for that.
Let's call all these games. Just go ahead and call them.
Oh God.
I'm calling it for PBKS. Easy win.
Yeah, it should be.
And it will be.
You know what? I'm gonna let you speak it into existence. Yes, we're in agreement. I'm picking us.
RCB versus Gujarat. I'm speaking it in existence for RCB.
Yeah, I think RCB too.
KKR versus SRH. I'm speaking it for SRH.
I'm gonna pick KKR.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick KKR, and I'm going to pick KKR because they bat deeper than SRH.
Yeah. Manohar's gonna score this watch. LSG versus Mumbai.
God. Especially if LSG lose to us. I'm still picking them.
I'm gonna pick LSG as well. CSK versus DC.
DC. Well, it's in Chennai.
It's a toughie. It's a Daryl toughie.
Actually, I'm picking CSK because DC haven't lost yet, and it's very difficult to win more than 60% of your games. Though, not as difficult to lose 60% of your games.
I am split, but just for the sake of instinct, my pure instinct says CSK. So I'm gonna go CSK. PBKS versus Rajasthan. It's got to be PBKS. Easy.
I
can see the emotional, you're trying to emotionally protect yourself.
That would put us at 3-0.
Yeah, you go 3-0. You go 3-0 because you're gonna lose.
Rajasthan are not very good.
Because you're gonna lose to RCB. You're gonna lose to a couple other teams, but you will beat RR. Rajasthan is in shambles right now.
Okay, I'll take it.
And then the last game we have to call. Last two games.
The only thing is we've been. Then again, we have Shreyas now, but we've been horrific at home at the new ground.
It's fine. It's fine.
I believe that Punjab Kings will lose one of our first 4 matches. One of them.
Yeah, probably the fourth.
That is GT, LSG, RR, and CSK. We're losing one of those at least.
I feel like you lose to CSK. But anyway, we're not going to call that match until next week.
I don't want to lose to CSK, though, because if we beat CSK, then I get to call them the Chennai Super Things.
Things?
Well, because they lost their Kings title.
I see. Nice.
And if we lose, then we're the Punjab Things. And that's no fun.
It's the Kings Clash.
Yeah.
All right. We have Sunrisers versus Gujarat. I'm going to call it for Gujarat.
Yeah.
And then finally, Mumbai versus RCB.
I'm going to call that one for SRH, actually. MI versus RCB, RCB, easy.
I'm calling it for Mumbai. I feel like they'll get their act together by next week.
Okay.
You're calling it for SRH against Gujarat?
Yep.
Cool. So we have 3 disagreements.
Yep.
The KKR game, the SRH.
I'm mostly calling it for SRH against Gujarat because I'm not calling it for them against KKR. I don't think they're going to lose both of those matches, but I do think they're going to lose one of them. And I think it's going to be to KKR.
Well, the KKR SRH game is in Eden Garden, so...
Yes, and that's another big thing.
But you know what's funny? The win predictor says 54% to Sunrisers.
Well, the win predictor doesn't host this podcast now, does it?
Nice. That was funny.
Yeah, all right. Let's close with a garnishment of football.
Sure.
Because there's almost nothing to talk about.
Yes.
I have 4 notes.
Please.
I believe more than ever that Colston Loveland is going to be the first round pick of the Chargers. It's the first name I heard. It's the most frequent name I hear. And unless something shocking happened, I really do think it's going to be him in the same way that just because it has the same energy as Priyan Charya opening for the Punjab Kings. There's your reward, by the way, if you're a cricket person still listening. Thank you. What else do we have? Other players that have been mocked. Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. He's a explosive running back. He's been flying up the draft boards over the past couple of months. And Mike Green out of Marshall, who is very fearsome defensive lineman, which is something that I like given the state of the Chiefs' offensive line. Big character issues, though. He was accused of sexual assault. We also signed Tyler Conklin from the New York Jets to play tight end, and if we don't take a tight end in the draft, we will have Tyler and Will Dissly as our tight ends, which I think is very good. You have sort of a receiving threat and a blocking threat. And yes, I know Will Dissly had a career year receiving last year, but anybody who watched him closely knows he is not a receiving tight end, and he drops the ball all the freaking time. So the Conklin signing frees us up to take the best available player in the draft, which I liked. There was kind of a situation where we, if we hadn't signed anybody, we would be thin at tight end and we would have to take Loveland or trade up for Tyler Warren or something like that, which I'm not totally against trading up for Tyler Warren because he's nuts as a prospect, but I like where we are. I like 22. I feel good about 22. Come on, 22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. And the last big thing, curious to get your thoughts on this. There is a rumor that the Chargers have signed another wide receiver kind of already. They're in sort of gentleman's agreement to sign him, but they cannot finalize this signing until the league year. This agreement is with a certain Mr. Keenan Allen.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
The line I've heard on Keenan is that he refuses to play anywhere other than LA or Chicago next year. And I don't think he's going to play for the Rams.
That's massive.
Yeah.
What other opinion could I have on this except for the fact that this is insane? This is insane, and I love this era of the Chargers, man. I love this.
I'm gonna be really excited, like if we take like a Loveland, or if we take some good offensive weapons in the draft,
Yes.
and we run back like Keenan and Mike and Ladd and Q.
I love how Harbaugh responded to the question by saying anything's possible. That'd be cool. He's such a he's the king of coach speak, but it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna happen.
I
And when it
feel
does
good
happen,
about this.
when
one.
it does happen, Herbie's gonna have like 100 options.
Our short passing game is gonna go like nuts.
Yes, finally. That's like, and we have not been the best short passing team.
And talk about all the struggles against man coverage. You have two guys who can beat man coverage, and a third guy that you can't leave one-on-one in man coverage, right? You got to double leg dub.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
Yeah.
So,
And Najee's a tank. You know?
Najee's a tank, and we got Mekhi Becton on the offensive line. Really only one more spot to fill, although we also signed Andre James from the Raiders, who could be a good option at center. If Bradley Bozeman doesn't work out, which I can make the argument he already hasn't worked out. Although I can also make the argument that he already has. So, I don't know. I don't feel great about Bradley Bozeman there, but, very little news, but exciting news.
This is huge. The Keenan thing is huge.
Yeah. Just for old time's sake. We
And
love
for new
Keenan.
time's
And
sake.
for new time's sake. And I think it is like a validation of our receiver room of 2 years ago that it really was, like, if Jimbo brings back the whole band, it really was just the coaching, and there was real, I will say, if Jimbo brings back the entire band, Tom Telesco deserves a minor apology. Just a small one, but a small apology. Cause he was the original person who brought that receiver room together, and it's not his fault that Brandon Staley sucks.
Well, it is his fault that he was promoted to head coach so quickly.
Yeah, but ownership generally hires the coach.
That is true.
So, I mean, with the GM, but yeah.
We'll say it was partially his fault.
Yes, partially. Everything's partially Tom Telesco's fault. Although,
Higher taxes
yeah,
are Tom Telesco.
inflation, bad economy. Although I feel slightly bad for him. He drafted probably the best player in the draft at number 9 last year, and then got shit canned by the Raiders. But then I also don't feel bad for him, because who wants to be associated with the Raiders? Basically.
Everybody in Los Angeles for some reason.
That's weird.
God, I was on a flight from New York to Los Angeles like a while ago, like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And the number of Raiders jerseys I saw, bro, it's insanity. It's Linsanity.
And you would have thought you would have seen some Jeremy Lin jerseys
But no.
on a flight to New York. But no. All Raiders. I
Right,
can't believe it.
From New York.
From New York?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever. But it's like
Too many Raiders.
my
It's
gripe-
not the 90s anymore.
my gripe with Angelinos is that there's so many Raiders jerseys. And an SF too.
Well, SF, they
San
were.
Diego, really. San Diego and SF both.
San Diego shouldn't have any fucking Raiders jerseys. That's like, gets the rival team. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. Although I do like Oakland, so I respect the Raiders on that level. But they don't play in Oakland anymore now, do
They
they?
do not.
Yeah, so fuck them. Fuck Vegas. Anyway.
Great news, dude. Brightened my day. Thanks for that.
Yeah. No, I was so stoked to see that. And honestly, in some ways, it's the thought that counts. Like, even just the idea of it happening makes me so happy.
But it will happen.
But it will happen.
I feel good about it.
Me too. Alrighty.
All right.
We just had a Dodger season start,
Yeah, we did.
and that's notable
That is notable.
because Dodgers are 5-0.
Notably, you mentioned that we're 5-0, but we're gonna be 6-0 because at time of recording, we are kicking the Braves' behinds, 6-1 Dodgers at the bottom of the 8th.
You love to see it.
We love to see it. We are going 6-0, buddy,
We are going 6-0,
and that's notable.
that's notable because next week we're gonna have somebody in to talk about it.
Who are we gonna have to talk about it?
The one true all-rounder
Don't even.
of the game of baseball, Mr. Shohei
Really.
Ohtani,
Oh my God.
will be joining us.
Us.
Us,
The two
you
of
and
us.
me, just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Oh my God.
So, for Ariane Ori, Rohit Sharma, and everybody else associated with the NFL's 407-7th team. My name is Nick Cates, and I'm saying, well...
I've got so much to say and so little time to say it. Great job, everybody. Who's got it better than us? Nobody!